Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Succubus Villain, The Dream of Becoming a 9 Billion Fairy Saint. Chapter 51. Shaun took the candle, a little confused, but still walked to the southeast corner of the coffin, lit the candle and placed it on the ground. Looking back, I don't know when Chen Lan took out a big rooster with its head held high. Yuer didn't understand Chen Lan's behavior very much, and finally couldn't help but ask. Master, what are you doing? Chen Lan mysteriously touched the big cock in his hand and looked at the two apprentices very seriously. If the rooster crows and the lanterns go out, there will be no gold. We must respect the wishes of some two mourners and be polite. After listening to Chen Lan's explanation, Shaun and the others still seemed to understand, but what they could understand clearly was that Chen Lan was about to open the coffin in front of him. While the two were in a daze, Chen Lan had already handed the big cock into Yuer's hand, walked to the coffin, and waved to Shaun. Here, let's open it together. When Shaun heard this, he immediately stepped forward. He also wanted to know what was in the coffin. But just when their hands touched the coffin, a breeze suddenly blew up in the sealed tomb, blowing out the candle that had just been lit by Shaun. At the same time, the big rooster in Yuer's hand suddenly crowed, scaring her and taking several steps back. Shaun was also frightened by this scene and retracted his hand. However, he remembered that Chen Lan had just said, if the rooster crows and the lantern is extinguished, the gold will not be touched, and he must respect the wishes of the tomb owner. But just as he retracted his hand, he heard the sound of the coffin lid being pushed open. He looked at Chen Lan in surprise, his eyes full of doubts. Chen Lan looked at the two apprentices with a determined expression. We must believe in science. Death is like a lamp going out. We cannot let the treasures of our predecessors gather dust here. Shaun didn't know why, but they just felt that Chen Lan's words made sense, so they silently kept these words in their hearts. After Shaun reacted, he quickly stepped forward again and helped Chen Lan push open the coffin lid. Holy shit! As soon as the coffin lid was pushed open, a terrifying force burst out from the coffin, sending Chen Lan flying out. He didn't even have time to see clearly what was in the coffin, but when he was flying in the air, he saw that Shaun was not affected by that power at all. This is too different a treatment. I am his master after all, so please respect me a little. Chen Lan was still complaining wildly, but Yuer could no longer care about the big cock in her hand, and hurriedly stepped forward to help Chen Lan, who fell to the ground. Master, look at what happened to brother Shaun. Chen Lan was speechless. You can't care about your master. Whatever happened to Shaun, he was not thrown out. Although she thought so in her heart, Chen Lan quickly got up and looked at Shaun carefully. At this time, Shaun stared blankly at the inside of the coffin. His mind seemed to be no longer in his body, but in the world inside the coffin. After looking carefully for a while, Chen Lan found that Shaun's breath was stable and showed no signs of being disturbed. The ring on his finger flashed golden light again. It was obvious that this was his chance. Seeing Shaun undergoing one-on-one inheritance awakening, Chen Lan knew clearly that her plan to drink soup along the way would be in vain. He's fine. This is his chance. We'll just wait for him here. After saying that, Chen Lan took out two rocking chairs and a tea set directly from the jade pendant space. Yuer already knew Chen Lan's style. Since Shaun was fine, there was no need to worry. With this in mind, she sat on the rocking chair on the other side and took the initiative to make tea for Chen Lan. Chen Lan was drinking tea, rocking the rocking chair, and leisurely looking at Shaun, who was growing in momentum. Destiny's Child is so shameless. I worked so hard with the system for so long before I could get a few levels up. Shaun had this opportunity, and he was about to break through to the realm of Tianquan. Yuer on the side noticed that Shaun's momentum was increasing and was completely relieved. However, she did not lie aside and enjoy like Chen Lan. Instead, she faced Shaun's direction and practiced cross-legged. Even if she couldn't catch up with Shaun, she couldn't let Shaun leave her too far. There is no day or night in this space, and you cannot feel the passage of time. I don't know how long it took, but Chen Lan, who was making barbecue, was suddenly startled by the aura erupting from Shaun's body. Peak of Tianquan realm. Although he had been looking forward to Shaun growing up quickly, but seeing that Shaun was almost catching up with him in just a few months, he still felt itchy with hatred. Chen Lan gritted his teeth and sprinkled a thick layer of chili powder on the meat skewers in front of him. Ji Yuer on the side was also awakened by Xiaoyun's changes. She opened her eyes and looked at Xiaoyun with surprise. Brother Xiaoyun. Hearing this call, Xiaoyun finally came back to his senses, but his original childish eyes became much deeper. Xiaoyun looked at Ji Yuer, walked towards her with a smile. However, Chen Lan was keenly aware of his changes and grabbed Ji Yuer, who was about to rush over. Are you still Xiaoyun? Hearing Chen Lan's words, Ji Yuer and Xiaoyun were both startled. Ji Yuer looked at Xiaoyun in surprise. Xiaoyun looked at Chen Lan with some surprise. Xiaoyun's eyes were very confused at this time, and it took him a while before he came back to his senses again. Master, I am Xiaoyun, no matter now or in the future, I will be. This was very cryptic. Although he didn't know how much Chen Lan had guessed, even now, he still couldn't see through his master. He talked about the present and the future, but he didn't talk about the past, because he was not Xiaoyun in the past, and the Emperor of Huang Shu was just one of his identities in the endless years. Chen Lan nodded. He just wanted to confirm whether this boss could be trusted in the future. What if Xiaoyun suddenly felt that he was just a passerby after awakening the memory of his previous life, so he just ignored him? That's good. With that said, he released his hold on Ji Yuer's hand. Although Ji Yuer heard it in confusion, Chen Lan let go of his hand, which already showed that there was nothing wrong with the person in front of him. Obviously the two of them were not separated at all, but they reminisced about the past for a long time. Until the aroma of barbecue wafted over from Chen Lan's side, the two of them drooled from the smell. They immediately stepped forward and looked at Xiaoyun longingly. Chen Lan understood and handed the meat skewers to Xiaoyun very naturally, and then handed another batch to Ji Yuer. After Ji Yuer got it, she immediately started to skewer it and ate it with gusto. Xiaoyun didn't hesitate and started to show off directly. After just one bite, Xiaoyun's eyes turned red as soon as the meat skewers reached his mouth. Master, master, spicy, spicy. Chen Lan tried her best to suppress the raised corners of her mouth and looked at him with confusion. I know this. La 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 la, la la la. Ji Yuer also looked confused. Why did she start singing while eating barbecue? Do you want me to sing along? Outside the tomb of the great emperor of the Yuan dynasty, Chen Lan was walking at the front, followed by sausage-mouthed Xiaoyun with a resentful look behind him. Ji Yuer felt distressed but couldn't help but want to laugh. Her expression was very strange. Sishu, let's open up the empty space and build a thief. Master, let me open the space channel. After saying that, Xiaoyun made strange handprints with his hands. Following his movements, the space of the stone tablet suddenly rippled layer by layer, and a space passage appeared in front of the three of them. The three of them stepped out of the passage and appeared in front of the wordless stone tablet the next second. When the three of them completely left the space of the steel suddenly turned into a golden light and shot into Xiaoyun's ring. Xiaoyun didn't explain this, and Chen Lan and Ji Yuer didn't ask any more questions. Emperor. Seeing Chen Lan and the others appear, Zhao Yan showed up immediately. After Chen Lan and the others entered the stone monument, Zhao Yan also tried to enter it. But he couldn't take even half a step forward, so he had to stay by the stone tablet and wait for Chen Lan. But Chen Lan had been gone for 3 months. In these 3 months, Chenfang Immortal Dynasty had completely taken over the eastern territory of Muyu Immortal Dynasty, and in addition, many major events had happened. It's just that this stone tablet has completely lost its luster since Xiaoyun entered it. It is like an ordinary stone and cannot be explored at all. Therefore, the news could only reach Zhao Yan at most. Now that he saw Chen Lan returning, Zhao Yan couldn't wait to tell Chen Lan. What's wrong? Chen Lan was also a little surprised. What could make Zhao Yan so anxious? Although he originally did not expect to lose contact with the outside world for such a long time, it was only 3 months. Dongzhou had been stable for hundreds of years, so what great things could happen in just 3 months? It's the Bingu Immortal Dynasty. The Bingu Immortal Dynasty has a new emperor. After Chen Lan heard this, he began to be surprised. The original Bingu emperor was in his prime, and he was the most promising eldest son of the Bingu emperor. Could it be that he was a karma? Who is the new emperor? Judging from Zhao Yan's expression, it's not like Bing Dingfang. The new Ice Moon Emperor is Lord Chu. Who? Chen Lan finally couldn't help but screamed, Mr. Chu, isn't this guy wanted by the Bingu Emperor? As long as he is caught, he can go to Chen Fengxianchao to claim the 5 border cities openly. How come he was not only allowed to sneak back to the Bingu immortal dynasty openly, but he was even recognized by the Bingu Emperor and made him a son-in-law and became the new Bingu Emperor? That's Mr. Chu. When Zhao Yan heard the news for the first time, he found it unbelievable. After confirming it many times, he believed it was true. He returned to the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty Kyoto 2 months ago and received the support of the Ice Moon Emperor and 80% of the officials of the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty, becoming the new Ice Moon Emperor. The original Bingu Emperor was put under house arrest by him. Bing Dingfang disobeyed him and was killed by him. The Bingu Emperor did not express dissatisfaction with this. After listening to Zhao Yan's words, Chen Lan glared at Xiaoyun fiercely. These children of destiny are real dogs. They took off without noticing for a while. Xiaoyun only thought that Chen Lan was blaming him for wasting time, and pouted his sausage mouth in embarrassment. Chu Jun was the person arranged by Huang Shu. Now it seems that there are only 2 immortal dynasties left in the entire East continent, Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty and Wangji Immortal Dynasty. Among them, the Wangji Immortal Dynasty has 3 powerful emperors, Wangji, Wangshu, and Bingu. However, the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty only has 1 great emperor, Chen Feng. With Huang Shu's ambition, he will never allow the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty and the Wangji Immortal Dynasty to coexist, and will definitely find ways to unify Dongzhou. Let's go back to Kyoto. This time, Xiaoyun and the 2 did not object. They got a lot of things this time, and he wanted to go back and digest it quietly for a while. Zhao Yan nodded when he heard the words. The space channel opened, and Chen Lan and the 3 of them traveled several times before returning to Kyoto in the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty. After returning to the Imperial Palace, Chen Lan worked non-stop and ordered Jizan and Chen Yang to pay attention to the movements of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty at the border and be ready to respond to Huang Shu's attack at any time. On the other side, 10 Tianshu realm experts were mobilized to rush to Gushan City, and their uncle Sun Hao was asked to directly lead people to attack the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, since they knew that Chu Jun and the Wangji Immortal Dynasty were on the same side. So instead of waiting for them to be ready before taking action against Chen Fengxianchao, we should take the initiative and cut off his arm first. He didn't ask Chen Feng for his opinion anymore. In this situation, there was no need to ask. Since Chen Feng dared to directly let Chen Lan become the emperor at this time, he had already made this plan. Following Chen Lan's orders to leave Kyoto, the entire Chen Feng Immortal Dynasty and even the entire Dong continent became turbulent. The armies and powerful men of the 3 great immortal dynasties are gathering overtly and covertly, and the battle to determine the fate of Dongzhou in the Xuanling realm is about to begin. At the same time, in the Kyoto Imperial Palace of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, Emperor Wangji, Huang Shu and Emperor Bingu gathered together. Among them, Huang Shu was sitting in the center of the hall, surrounded by a mysterious formation. At both ends of the formation, Emperor Wangji and Emperor Bingu sat opposite each other with expressionless faces, exuding an unknown hazy aura. The 3 of them all exuded terrifying imperial power, but the spiritual energy around the Emperor Huge and Emperor Bingu was frantically pouring into the formation. In the center of the formation, after being purified, the spiritual power turned into extremely pure energy and poured into Huang Shu's body. At the same time, the momentum of Emperor Wangji and Emperor Bingu slowly weakened, while Huang Shu was strengthening in practice, and there were faint signs of breaking through to the middle stage of the great emperor. If Chen Lan were here, he would find that Emperor Wangji and Emperor Bingu not only had expressionless faces, but their eyes were also filled with confusion, as if they didn't know what they were doing. I don't know what method Huang Shu used to control the 2 great emperors and let them sacrifice their original spiritual power to help Huang Shu cultivate. At the entrance of the Imperial Palace, Lord Chu's eyes were deep. This time, following Huang Shu's method, he not only succeeded in becoming the emperor of the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, but even controlled the Bingu Emperor. The most important thing is that Chen Lan did not come out to cause trouble this time. Now the entire Bingu Immortal Dynasty can be said to be his, Lord Chu's world. But after receiving Huang Shu's order, he still obeyed without hesitation, as if Huang Shu was his natural leader. Chu Jun can feel that this is God's will, and he will obey God's will unconditionally. Only by obeying God's will can he feel satisfied. It will take some time for Huang Shu to break through. After all, if a strong man in the realm of the great emperor wants to break through again, it will take hundreds of years as a unit. Now he has only broken through to the realm of the great emperor for a few months, and he is about to break through to the small realm. Even with the help of the two great emperors at all costs, it still takes time to achieve. But Chen Lan didn't intend to give her this time. At this moment, Chu Jun, who was staying in the capital of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, suddenly received news from the Bingu Immortal Dynasty. Sun Hao had led the army to attack the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, and Qinfang Immortal Dynasty's Tianshu realm powerhouses were no longer hiding. Take action directly. Within 3 days, even the 7 cities of the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, the officials and powerful men of the Bingu Immortal Dynasty were waiting for the return of Lord Chu and Bingu Emperor to decide the matter. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully interrupting the Son of Destiny to recharge his batteries. Reward: Great Teleportation Array. Great Movement Array. An advanced space formation that can lead 100,000 people to move over long distances. Is the host still worried about the slow march? You deserve to have the Great Teleportation Array. With this system, you no longer have to worry about the host's mobility. In the Imperial Palace of Qinfang Immortal Dynasty, when Sun Hao received the order and began to attack the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, the voice of the system sounded in Chen Lan's mind. Tongzi, you still know how to play. Chen Lan's expression was strange, but she knew it very well in her heart. According to the law that system rewards will be of great use in a short period of time, there is a specific situation where this magic circle needs to be used. Sure enough, just as Chen Lan understood how to set up the Great Movement Array, Hangzhou quickly walked into the Imperial Palace with a bunch of urgent military information. Emperor, the new emperor of the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty has appeared on the front line today, and not only has he brought 7 powerful Tianshu realm experts from the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty. With him are 5 Tianshu realm experts from the Emperor's Immortal Dynasty. Now we no longer have an advantage over the Tianshu realm experts. The current situation is stalemate, and it is difficult to continue the attack on the Bingu Immortal Dynasty. Chen Lan nodded, which was expected. It is no secret to him that Wangji Immortal Dynasty and Bingu Immortal Dynasty wear the same pants. As long as the opponent does not use the powerful emperor, we will never use Chen Feng. Isn't it just a person who is stronger than Tianshu realm? With the Great Teleportation Array, he can instantly appear anywhere in Dongzhou with his troops. If you can't catch me, just wait for me to defeat you one by one. Just when he was about to express his feelings about how timely the system's rewards were, Hangzhou's expression turned a little ugly, as if he still had something to say. What's wrong? Hearing Chen Lan's question, Hangzhou calmed down. Emperor, Yu Weining, who rebelled with Yi Jingtian before, has recovered from his injuries and appeared yesterday at the southern border of the original Muyu Immortal Dynasty. Because the Muyu Immortal Dynasty had a serious shortage of troops in the previous war with the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, the queen who killed Yi Jingtian did not kill the ordinary monks who followed the rebellion. Now Yu Weining has found 2 friends from Tianshu realm and has regrouped his southern border troops. He has gathered 100,000 troops and started to attack the eastern border we just took over. The eastern territory has just changed from the Muyu Immortal Dynasty to the Qinfang Immortal Dynasty. Many people are not convinced, so some people take the initiative to cooperate with Yu Weining, and the situation is not very good. Chen Lan nodded when he heard this. Yi Jingtian was really haunted. Everyone was gone and his angel investors were still causing trouble for him. But it's okay. Don't panic, with this great teleportation formation, as long as the magic weapon descends from the sky and kills the chickens to scare the monkeys, it won't be a big problem. But when Chen Lan looked at Hangzhou, she found that she was still looking at him tentatively. Chen Lan was a little doubtful about life. Could anything else happen? Besides, Hangzhou could only nod helplessly. When she first got the news, she was stunned for several minutes. She felt that with these things piled up together, unless Emperor Qinfang personally took action, even if the Qinfang Immortal Dynasty had a large number of Tianshu realm powerhouses, problems would easily arise if they were spread out so widely. After all, in addition to these existing things, Wangji Immortal Dynasty also had to guard against it. The Xie family in Xingyuan City and the Lin family in Yisu City each hid an ancestor who was in the early stage of Tianshu realm. They announced their rebellion almost at the same time yesterday. The city lords' mansions in both cities have been captured. They are now recruiting troops to strengthen the city defense formation. After saying this, Hongzhuo finally stopped and waited for Chen Lan's reaction with a worried look on his face. When Chen Lan heard about these two families, he was startled for a moment and then realized what was happening. Isn't the Xie family in Xingyuan City the family of Xie Yu and Xie Qingqing? After killing Xie Yu, it was because of Xie Qingqing that he chose to let the Xie family go. The Xie family was also grateful at that time, and their attitude was as humble as possible. I didn't expect them to hide it so deeply. Based on his influence on Xie Qingqing these days, it is estimated that even Xie Qingqing himself does not know the Xie family's plan. This group of sons of destiny is really more haunting than the last. As for the Lin family in Yisu City, although Chen Lan didn't know what it was at all, since it was Lin, it was definitely Lin Fei's family. As for Lin Fei's family, he didn't stay because he was soft-hearted. But for so many days in Daneling Valley, Chen Lan didn't even realize that there was a family behind Lin Fei. Except for the Tianshu realm strongmen guarding the border of Wangji Immortal Dynasty, all other Tianshu realm strongmen, including those who have already fought against Bingu Immortal Dynasty, Yuening and others, will all return to Kyoto to gather within an hour. The remaining 50,000 Fengshan guards in Kyoto are all on standby. They will be ready for war in an hour. Hongzhuo was stunned when he heard this. Not only did he not send anyone out, he also asked everyone to come back. While the Tianshu realm powerhouse was away, if the other party attacked, ordinary monks would be unable to resist it. Is Chen Lan ready to give up? Not that much. Hongzhuo wanted to think about it, but since Chen Lan had given the order, she would not hesitate. Chen Lan looked at Hongzhuo, who was leaving, teleported through space, and instantly arrived at the treasure house of Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty. Being the successor to Emperor Qinfeng is more than just a name. From the moment Qinfeng announced that he became the emperor, he already owned the entire Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty, including of course the treasure house of this immortal dynasty. Chen Lan didn't know how big the treasure troves of the other three immortal dynasties were, but judging from the previous behavior styles of Bingu Immortal Dynasty and Muyu Immortal Dynasty, the top-grade spiritual stones that the two immortal dynasties could use would never exceed 20 million. The reason why the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty was able to cultivate so many strong men and such a terrifying army as the Fengshan Wei was because of its profound foundation. In the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty's treasure house, excluding the mountains of precious spiritual weapons, there are a total of 200 million top-quality spiritual stones that can be mobilized. When Chen Lan saw these two small targets for the first time, she almost ran away with the money. And now the great teleportation array he wants to deploy, although the effect is extremely powerful, because it involves the power of a powerful law such as the space law, the consumption of spiritual stones is also very terrifying. Chen Lan made a brief prediction. With his current understanding of formations and control over the laws of space, every time he uses the great teleportation formation, he will consume a full 10 million high-quality spiritual stones. Stepping into the treasure house of Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty, Chen Lan looked east and west. Then he patted his chest reassuringly. It's okay, the money I have in this life is worth 3 melons and 2 dates. After I deal with you all, I have to tie up all the 9 clans of you fools and let you dig the spirit stone mine for 200 years. I will repay my loss 10 times today. Although he has money now, Chen Lan is still very unhappy about being forced to spend money. Chen Lan murmured while frantically transporting spirit stones into the jade pendant space. The jade pendant space is very magical and can even merge with reality, so it is the most suitable place to prepare the great teleportation array. As long as several large teleportation formations are arranged in advance in the jade pendant space, they can move instantly anytime, anywhere. It has miraculous effects and can beep at the same time. It is simply invincible. Half an hour later, Chen Lan had collected a full 100 million high-quality spiritual stones, and also deployed 5 great teleportation formations. Don't ask where the other 50 million top-quality spiritual stones are. It's just normal wear and tear. Anyway, it wasn't someone like me who misappropriated it. At this time, Chen Feng was also paying attention to the situation in the outside world. After learning the news, he also thought that Chen Lan would directly ask him to take action. And now, he still didn't understand what Chen Lan was going to do. The only thing he discovered was that a full 100 million high-grade spiritual stones were missing from the treasure house. This grandson is not going to run away. Chen Feng paid attention to everything in the treasure house. When he saw Chen Lan stopped after taking 100 million top-quality spiritual stones, he breathed a sigh of relief and looked at him curiously. Chen Lan didn't know that his every move just now was being watched by Chen Feng. Since he had the rune stones given to him by Chen Feng to help him find out, he let it go completely. Half an hour later, the entire Chenfang Immortal Dynasty, except for the Tianshu realm expert guarding the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, was stunned. The remaining Tianshu realm experts, including Zhao Yan and Sun Hao, totaled 24, all gathered in front of the Imperial Palace. Behind them were 50,000 Fengshan guards, all ready to attack, obviously ready for battle. Chen Lan's previous order was to start the war in an hour. Although they didn't know who they could fight in Kyoto, since the emperor gave the order, they just obeyed. Among the powerful people in the Tianshu realm, Chen Lan is the most familiar with Sun Hao and Zhao Yan. Especially Sun Hao, and even his uncle. When no one knew what Chen Lan wanted to do, only Sun Hao asked directly. "Emperor, we are in urgent need now. If you have any arrangements, please tell me immediately." Seeing Sun Hao's anxious look, Chen Lan smiled slightly. "It's not an urgent matter. It can be solved within today." After the words fell, the jade pendant in Chen Lan's hand shone, and the space of the jade pendant began to slowly merge with the surrounding environment, covering the entire 50,000 feng shui. After a while, the jade pendant space was completely integrated, and no one, not even the powerful emperor, could find it at this time. Chen Feng looked at the jade pendant in Chen Lan's hand and nodded with interest. "Interesting, this seems to be the old man's junk. What is this grandson planning to do?" The next moment, the great teleportation array appeared at everyone's feet. Chen Lan, 50,000 Wind God guards, and 24 Tianshu realm powerhouses appeared above Yisu City in an instant. Even Chen Feng was shocked this time. What kind of method was this? It was actually possible to carry so many people through the space passage. No wonder we need so many spiritual stones. This kid actually created a moving circle in the lower realm. In Yisu City, the ancestors of the Lin family are constantly strengthening the city defense formation. In the entire plan, only the Lin family and the Xie family are the weakest links. Therefore, we can only try our best to make a little noise and distract Chen Fengxianchao's attention. If you don't rely on the city defense formation, a random Tianshu realm powerhouse will be enough to blow him up. The city defense formation had just been activated. Under his personal urging, a shield strong enough to withstand the Tianshu realm strongman shrouded the entire Yisu City. At the same time, 50,000 dark wind guards appeared out of thin air, scaring the ancestor of the Lin family into thinking that he had modified the city defense formation so that it was completely blocked. After taking a closer look, he discovered that those covering the sky were actually the most elite Fengshan guards of the Chenfang Immortal Dynasty. And when he shifted his gaze to the front of the Fengshan guard, he was completely stunned. The charming bright red figure at the front must be the legendary new Emperor Chen Lan. And behind him, 1, 2, 3. There are a total of 24 statues, all of which are powerful in the Tianshu realm. But Chen Lan would not wait for him to react, and the cold voice directly resounded over the entire Yisu City. "Break the formation." Almost at the same time Chen Lan opened his mouth, 24 Tianshu realm experts took action at the same time. Although each of them was just a light blow, after merging together, the power increased several times. Yisu City's strengthened city defense formation had almost no resistance and was shattered in an instant. At the same time, the ancestor of the Lin family spurted out a mouthful of old blood and almost fainted on the spot. Before everyone in the Lin family could react, they saw that their ancestor in the Tianshu realm instantly became cold, and their hearts also became cold. And Chen Lan's next words made them even colder. "Anyone above the Tianquan realm will be killed in the Tianshu realm. The rest will be taken care of by Fengshanwei. In the entire Lin family, there are no chickens or dogs left, no matter the young or old." After Chen Lan finished speaking, no one hesitated. Although they were a little surprised that he was suddenly teleported to Yisu City just now, since this was all the methods of their own emperor, they could just obey orders and solve the trouble. 50,000 people plus 24 Tianshu realm experts slaughtered a so-called large family, but it didn't take even a quarter of an hour. The entire Lin family was bleeding like a river, and there were no more dogs or chickens left in the real sense. The other families in Yisu City were trembling when they saw this situation. Some of them were forced to have no choice, but others took the initiative to defect. They had been cooperating with the Lin family these days. If the emperor is unhappy, will he kill them all too? But Chen Lan didn't worry them for long, because the Lin family had already killed everyone. Everyone returned to their original positions, and the space of Chen Lan's jade pendant began to merge with the surrounding environment again. In 3 days, the new city lord will come here to take office. If you have second thoughts, take the Lin family as an example. Chen Lan's cold words were accompanied by the smell of blood that filled the city, frightening the ancestors of all the major families to tremble all over and dare not breathe loudly. After the words fell, the light of the magic circle under Chen Lan's feet lit up again, and everyone disappeared. In Xingyuan City, the descendants of the Xie family and Xie Qingqing are still arguing with their ancestors. During this period, because of Xie Qingqing's relationship, the Qinfeng immortal dynasty helped the Xie family a lot. At this time, the ancestor wanted to rebel against the Qinfeng immortal dynasty for Xie Yu for no reason, which they couldn't understand. Short-sighted, with only this little profit in mind, the Qinfeng immortal dynasty is about to perish. Only by cooperating with the Wangji immortal dynasty as soon as possible can we lead the Xie family to prosperity. The ancestor of the Xie family looked at Xie Qingqing's grandfather with hatred. He was the one who took the lead against the Xie family's rebellion. But ancestor, you have never thought that if Emperor Chenlin wanted to take action against the Xie family, it would be easy. The ancestor of the Xie family didn't take it seriously. No way, absolutely impossible. Now that the Wangji immortal dynasty has not officially joined the war, the Qinfeng immortal dynasty is still very busy, and there is not much spare power to target us. As long as we hold on for a while and Emperor Huang Shu unifies Dongzhou, we will be the heroes of the founding of the dynasty. That's the opportunity for my Xie family to prosper. Boom. Just as the voice of the ancestor of the Xie family fell, there was a sudden loud noise in the sky. Like a thunder explosion, with a loud noise, the Fengshan guards that covered the sky and sun appeared out of thin air, and the protective formation of Xingyuan City was instantly shattered into pieces. The eyes of the entire Xingyuan City gathered around. The blue armor of the Fengshan guards seemed to be like a series of world-destroying thunderbolts, with unparalleled power. The 24 Tianshu realm experts could overwhelm the entire city with their momentum alone. Chen Lan at the front is like a banished immortal coming to the world. His red clothes and handsome face are enough to make the saints in the world obsessed and the genius saints to feel ashamed. The ancestor of the Xie family was the first to react, but he would rather not react because the reality is too cruel. Chen Lan waved his hand, and several Tianshu realm powerhouses behind him all took action, blocking him from the 8 directions of the ancestor of the Xie family. Faced with the siege of 8 Tianshu realm experts whose lesser realms surpassed his own, the ancestor of the Xie family had no ability to resist at all. Before he could use his spiritual power, he was restrained and unable to move. Knowing that there is no hope of escape, the ancestor of the Xie family fell into madness. Ha 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 ha, Chen Lan, you idiot, you actually sent so many people to our Xingyuan city at this time. The 3 great immortal dynasties are attacking together. Your Qinfeng immortal dynasty will perish. Chen Lan was too lazy to explain to this mentally retarded man, and his tone was cold. 10 breaths ago, there wasn't even a dog named Lin left in Yisu City. If I want, after 10 breaths, I can take them anywhere in Dongzhou. It's just that you won't be able to see it for sure. As he spoke, the power of the Tianshu realm strongman restraining the ancestor of the Xie family gradually increased. The ancestor of the Xie family continued to struggle painfully, but could not say a word. At this moment, under a crowd of horrified eyes, Xie Qingqing's grandfather stepped forward and knelt down to beg for mercy. Emperor, my Xie family is really just confused for a moment. Please, for the sake of Qingqing, please give the Xie family a way to survive. Chen Lan's eyes were cold, and after signaling to the Tianshu realm powerhouse, the vitality in the body of the ancestor of the Xie family continued to drain away, and eventually his soul was gone, leaving only a broken body. If it weren't for Qingqing's sake, when Xie Yu dared to go to Kyoto to challenge my sister, the Xie family would have ceased to exist. If it weren't for Qingqing's sake, the Xie family today would have been the same as the Lin family just now. I will give you a quarter of an hour to gather all the people of your lineage. After a quarter of an hour, there will be no other people named Xie in Xingyuan City. Xie Qingqing's grandfather wanted to say something more, but was directly interrupted by Chen Lan. I respect you as Qingqing's elder. Don't test my bottom line. You won't want to see the price. Seeing the Xie family ancestor being caught in the opponent's hands like a dead dog, Xie Qingqing's grandfather could only sigh deeply. He had tried his best. It was their ancestors and other tribesmen who sought death on their own, so they couldn't be blamed. Thinking of this, he no longer hesitated and took the time to call people, gathering as many people as possible who were close to him. Chen Lan didn't expose him. Anyway, he just wanted to kill the chicken to scare the monkeys, and that didn't have much impact on people. Once the news about the Xie family and the Lin family spread throughout Dongzhou, no one in the Qinfeng immortal dynasty would dare to do anything like this. A quarter of an hour later, the last person hurried to Grandpa Xie Qingqing's side. During this period, some people in the Xie family wanted to recognize Xie Qingqing's grandfather as their adopted father, and some wanted to recognize Xie Qingqing's father as their adopted son. There were also people who tried to escape from Yisu City, but they were all caught by the Fengshan Guard and executed directly. There were many people in Yisu City paying close attention to the situation of the Xie family from a distance. When the time came, the Fengshan Guards and the Tianshu realm experts took action together. With the experience from the last time, they were much more skilled in cooperating this time, trying their best to make up for the quarter of an hour of waiting. After the rest of the Xie family became nourishment between heaven and earth, no one in the entire Yisu City dared to check on the Xie family's situation, for fear that Chen Lan would be unhappy and use them to help. Among them, the ones who are most afraid are the survivors of the Xie family. Looking at the tribesmen who had lived with them day and night, and the ancestors and elders who had been above them, they could not bear even a trace of resentment. At this moment, they could only be glad that Xie Qingqing got Chen Lan's attention, and that Chen Lan was not the kind of person who was completely unkind. After all, even if Chen Lan killed all the Xie family, no one would dare to say anything. Chen Lan still had a smile on his handsome face, which seemed incompatible with the scene of blood flowing in front of him. After everything was done, the jade pendant space began to merge with the surrounding environment again, and Chen Lan's last words came out. The new city lord will take office within 3 days. If you cooperate with him well, the Xie family will still be the largest family in Xingyuan City. Xie Qingqing's grandfather was startled when he heard this, with only bitterness on his face. The rest of the Xie family finally breathed a sigh of relief. What happened today will definitely be something they will never forget. Now that the civil strife has ended, we must begin to deal with the foreign enemies. Chen Lan's plan has always been to solve the easy problems first, which saves time. In less than an hour, the rebellion between the Lin family and the Xie family has been completely resolved. Under Hong Zhou's admiring eyes, Chen Lan shook her hair very coquettishly. According to his tactic of picking the weak ones first, the next target is Yu Weining. Although Yu Weining is a soft persimmon relatively speaking, he is also a veteran powerhouse in the Muyu immortal dynasty. His strength has reached the peak of Tianshu realm, and only top experts like Jizan and Zhao Yan can overwhelm him. If he desperately wants to escape or fight to the death, he might really cause a lot of damage to Chen Lan and the others. What's more, this time he also found 2 friends who were also in the Tianshu realm to help him. As for Yu Weining, he didn't realize that the powerful Chen Fengxian Chaoshan Shu realm who was originally fighting against him had left for more than an hour, but he just felt a little strange. In the camp of Qinfeng immortal dynasty, the remaining monks felt somewhat guilty because of the departure of the Tianshu realm powerhouse. Especially when Yu Weining sent someone to test her, even though she knew she couldn't reveal her secrets so she acted like usual, she still lost a bit of edge without realizing it. Yu Weining has already conducted his 3rd test, and one of his friends in the Tianshu realm personally attacked the city. But even though the strong Tianshu realm had appeared above the city defense formation to accumulate strength, there was still no strong Tianshu realm appearing on Qinfengxian dynasty's side. Yu Weining was overjoyed when he saw this, and was almost certain that there really was no Tianshu realm expert on the other side. He felt that Huang Shu's arrangements in other places must have worked and attracted Chen Lan's attention. At this moment, he should take advantage of as many opportunities as possible so that the Chen Feng immortal dynasty could not look at each other. But just when he was about to order a full-scale attack on the city, a loud noise suddenly came from the sky. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completely interrupting the Son of Destiny's arrangements for Xingyuan City and Yisu City, and for completely solving the Lin family in Yisu City. Reward: Succubus Physique Upgrade. Advanced effect of Succubus Physique. Appearance value plus 999, Enhanced Passive Effect of Charm, Enhanced Effect of Active Release Skill, Divine Charm, and consuming spiritual power at the same time can accelerate the formation of enchantment seeds. Chenlan. Yu Weining looked at the person who suddenly appeared in front of him in surprise. Chen Lan in the front was still as handsome as ever. Chen Lan faced Yu Weining with a smile, but his eyes stayed on his two friends. These two friends of Yu Weining are actually strong women. Because they have reached the Tianshu realm, their lifespans are as long as 1,000 years. Therefore, it is impossible to determine how old she is. Anyway, from the appearance, she is a mature woman in her 30s. Senior Yu, long time no see. Chen Lan's every gesture exudes the infinite charm of a succubus physique, which is particularly attractive to monks of the opposite gender. Because Yu Weining is an angel investor of Destiny's Son and is connected by destiny with Destiny's Son, she can resist part of the succubus's physique. It itself has the strength of the peak Tianshu realm, so it can naturally completely resist Chen Lan's influence. But his two friends still developed a slight liking for Chen Lan inadvertently, and there was a voice in their hearts telling them that they did not want to be enemies with Chen Lan. Chen Lan discovered this keenly, and in an instant, an evil plan took shape. Yu Weining did not notice anything unusual about his two friends, who were twin sisters he met while traveling in Central Continent. The three of them had shared hardships, so they trusted each other, otherwise they would not have agreed to help Yu Weining fight against the Qinfeng immortal dynasty. I haven't seen you for just 3 months, and you are already Emperor Qinfeng. If I had known, I would have killed you that day even if I had risked my life. Yu Weining's tone was full of regret. He really wanted to kill Chen Lan at all costs from the bottom of his heart. If he hadn't realized the importance of Chen Lan, Yi Jingtian might not have died, and Huang Shu and Yi Jingtian's plan wouldn't have become so difficult. If you lose that opportunity, you may never have another chance again. Chen Lan's tone was full of ridicule. Even if he gave Yu Weining another chance, Yu Weining might not be able to do anything to him. 24 powerful Tianshu realm warriors blocked the movements of Yu Weining and the others, and their powerful momentum directly pressed them to the ground, preventing them from taking off. But these two people around you, do you have any grudge against them? You dare to provoke our Qinfeng immortal dynasty with tens of thousands of defeated troops. This kind of thing is to use an egg against a stone, but you actually tricked them into helping you. Do you want to use my hand to get rid of them? Yu Weining raised his brows when he heard this, but did not take his words to heart. After all, Chen Lan's words were too obvious to provoke a relationship between them. Yu Weining believed in the feelings between herself and her friends, and also believed in the wisdom of her friends. After all, it was not difficult to understand what Chen Lan meant. They did know what Chen Lan meant, and their eyes were locked on Chen Lan at the same time. Chen Lan's magical eyes were already ready, and the red light in his eyes flashed rapidly the moment they met their eyes. Just by looking at each other, the two sisters were already planted with charm by Chen Lan. The two sisters fell into a daze for a few breaths at the same time, but Yu Weining did not notice it and just continued to confront Chen Lan. Chen Lan, put away your clumsy tricks. We won't be fooled like this. Chen Lan smiled noncommittally, her gentle eyes resting on the two Tianshu realm sisters. What do you call your two sisters? The two sisters were still struggling. They didn't know whether they should prefer Yu Weining, their friend in need, or because they believed more in Chen Lan, a handsome guy who made them stunned at first sight. When Chen Lan called out her sister, they felt their hearts melting. Without any hesitation, they directly smiled gently and said to Chen Lan, Ji Waner, Ji Chower. Hearing Chen Lan's presumptuous, called to two of her friends of the same age as sisters. Yuening was about to laugh at Chen Lan, but she heard that Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer had already taken the initiative to announce their names. He looked at the two sisters with some confusion, unable to understand why they, who usually had a cold temperament, suddenly had such a good attitude towards Chen Lan today. Chen Lan didn't give them time to react, and directly activated his spiritual power to strengthen the charm seed's effect. In just the short period of time that Yuening was confused, sisters Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer had begun to slowly transform into Chen Lan's shape. It turns out it's Sister Chaoer and Sister Wanner. Do you have a good relationship with Yuening? Feeling the change in the eyes of the two women looking at him, Chen Lan had begun to act unscrupulously regardless of Yuening's feelings. The two sisters didn't know why when they heard this, they just felt a little happy in their hearts, and the corners of their mouths could not help but rise. But before they could answer, Yuening's voice broke in at an inappropriate time. Wanner and Chaoer and I have been friends in times of need. We have been friends for hundreds of years. How can a young boy like you understand our feelings? Of course, Yuening also discovered the abnormality of the two sisters, so he tried to use their past memories to awaken them and let them distinguish between ourselves and the enemy. But after hearing Yuening's words, Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer's faces became extremely dark. Yuening said that they had been friends for hundreds of years, but that meant telling Chen Lan that the two of them were at least hundreds of years old. Even though they are powerful people in the Tianshu realm, they are indeed quite old, but they try their best to maintain their appearance because they don't want to admit the passage of time. After all, they have been cultivating for many years, but they have not been in love yet. Now, the handsome boy in front of them at an age who could be their grandson made them feel like they fell in love at first sight. In front of a strong person in the Tianshu realm, the age gap is nothing. They will never allow this guy Yuening to cause trouble and destroy their beautiful love. Thinking of this, Ji Wanner quickly interrupted Yuening. Little brother, we did cooperate with brother Yu to deal with some troubles, but they were just battles forced by the situation. Don't get me wrong. Ji Wanner's meaning was very clear. The so-called friend in need was just a friend who had fought together and had no other feelings. As for their relationship that Yuening mentioned, Ji Wanner just wanted Yuening to stop talking about it. She was really afraid that Chen Lan would misunderstand it. Regardless of Yuening's ghostly expression, the two sisters Ji Wanner even took a few steps away from Yuening in unison. Their actions made Chen Lan feel a little surprised. Even if the charm was enhanced, the effect was too strong. It seems that the mental state of these two older leftover women really needs care and is a bit beyond common sense. Forgetting the truth. These are the 4 words that Yuening can think of that best fit the current situation. He did not hesitate to pay a huge price to invite 2 powerful friends who he thought could be completely trusted. It was only the first time they met Chen Lan, and they had already begun to alienate themselves and favor Chen Lan. Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer didn't seem to notice Yuening's expression as if he had eaten shit, and all their attention was focused on Chen Lan. Little brother, be good and follow your sisters. The 2 sisters will treat you to seafood together. Ji Wanner stared at Chen Lan's face, her expression gradually changing. Instead of feeling anything wrong, Ji Chaoer nodded matter-of-factly and looked at Chen Lan, as if waiting for his agreement. Chen Lan was so confused that she could only subconsciously look at Yuening and signal to the 2 sisters Ji Wanner that he had something serious to do this time. Just feeling Chen Lan's gaze, the 2 Ji Wanner sisters stared at Yuening with cold eyes. Normally, you are my friend. But if you become an obstacle for me to fall in love, then you and I are enemies. Sister Ji Wanner drew a clear line with Yuening very neatly. At this time, even if Chen Lan ordered to attack Yuening, they would not stop them. In fact, even if they block it, they may not be able to stop Chen Lan's attack, not to mention that Chen Lan has already made a plan to go all the way. He himself is now very curious about how much influence the enhanced charm species can have on the strong men in the Tianshu realm. Thinking of this, Chen Lan not only was not frightened by the actions of the 2 sisters Ji Wanner, but began to actively cater to them. Really, what are you 2 sisters going to treat me to? Ji Wanner's smile became more and more abnormal. If the situation was not right now, they would definitely let Chen Lan see what abalone is and taste what oysters are. Just when Ji Chaoer was about to say something more, Chen Lan seemed to suddenly come to his senses and said to the two of them seriously. I'm free, but it seems like I have some serious business to do right now. After he finished speaking, he looked at Yuening, who had already fallen into self-doubt, as if he was telling Ji Wan'er and the two sisters. Only by solving Yuening's problem can Chen Lan continue to communicate with them in depth. The two of them were also very keenly aware of Chen Lan's meaning, and then shifted their attention from Chen Lan to Yuening. His eyes slowly changed from obsessed to fierce and firm. Yuening had already been locked tightly by the 24 Tianshu realm experts, and she had long felt uncomfortable. Now 2 more people have been added. 26 powerful auras are like mountains, and the terrifying aura surrounds Yuening. But what Yuening felt most in her heart at this time was not panic and anxiety, but confusion about the behavior of the two sisters Ji Wan'er and resentment towards Chen Lan. Chen Lan, what kind of magic did you use to confuse the minds of 2 Tianshu realm experts? Chen Lan was noncommittal, as if he didn't understand what Yuening was saying at all, but the determination in his eyes to deal with him became more and more determined. In such a long time, Yuening was the first to notice something was wrong when someone was obsessed with Chen Lan's appearance. You know, even if the Son of Destiny can resist the influence of Chen Lan's succubus physique, he still cannot ignore Chen Lan's improved appearance. But now Yuening doesn't buy it, and can almost directly conclude that Chen Lan must have used some trick to confuse people's hearts, which is why the two sisters Ji Wan'er have changed now. Just when Chen Lan was still thinking about what went wrong, Yuening took action boldly, and the huge spiritual power broke through the layers of restraints and blasted straight towards Chen Lan. Neither Chen Lan nor the Tianshu realm experts around him reacted. They never expected that Yuening could suddenly burst out with such terrifying power. It's just that they have no time to think about it now, as the overwhelming pressure of the Tianshu realm suddenly pounces on Chen Lan. Just when everyone was in a hurry, the two sisters Ji Wan'er were very calm and in tacit understanding and released their spiritual power at the same time, blocking all Yuening's attacks. Among everyone present, the two sisters who know Yuening best are actually the two sisters. Only their travel experiences together can understand a person's behavior. What are you doing? Yuening's voice was a little angry. He stared at the two Ji Wan'er sisters in front of him with wide eyes, his eyes full of disbelief. He originally thought that the Ji Wan'er sisters would at best not help him, but he never thought that these two people, who had always obeyed him and regarded him as the most important person, would directly betray him at this critical moment. Yuening, you disappoint me so much. Ji Wan'er looked at him coldly, her tone full of disappointment and determination. We have always regarded you as our most important friend, and we have even taken risks for your sake. But what about you? You actually ignored the happy lives of our two sisters for the sake of Yi Jingtian, who has turned into ashes. Ji Chaoer also nodded in agreement. That's right, you are so selfish. Yuening's face turned pale instantly. He couldn't accept that the two women could criticize him instead of talking about the facts. Yuening, we will never let you hurt Chen Lan. As the voices of Ji Wan'er and the two sisters fell, Yuening fell into despair. The two of them's statements had a greater impact on him than the 24 Tianshu realm powerhouses taking action together. He once thought that Yi Jingtian could control everything, but then Yi Jingtian died. Then, he felt that Huang Shu was absolutely invincible, but now it seemed that he was the pawn being controlled. He lowered his head feebly, his heart filled with regret and despair. He knew that his choice was wrong. From Yi Jingtian to Huang Shu, everything was wrong. I remember when I first met Yi Jingtian looked so high-spirited, as if no one in the world could be his enemy. In Yuening's eyes, Yi Jingtian is a person favored by God. Whether it is cultivation or opportunities, he has never heard of it. So when Yi Jingtian decided to rebel against Mu Yushan dynasty, he just hesitated a little and then agreed directly. With Yi Jingtian's talent and opportunities, it won't take long for him to become the top expert in the entire Xuanling world. I just didn't expect that Yi Jingtian died so hastily. Chen Lan never glanced at Yuening from the beginning to the end. His eyes always stayed on the two sisters Ji Wan'er. He knew that these two women had become his possessions, and he only needed to use a few tricks to make them completely surrender to him. Thinking of this, Chen Lan couldn't help but feel happy. Before the succubus, physique was improved this time, his cultivation level could only affect monks at a level lower than himself. Divine charm can only be effective on strong men of the same level. Unexpectedly, after this advancement, even strong men in the Tianshu realm will not be able to resist its temptation. Although Ji Wanner and her sisters have their own reasons for this, according to the system, the succubus's physique can continue to improve. When the succubus's physique evolves again in the future, with his appearance, it is possible that his mother will directly influence the son of destiny or his mother will turn against him. For example, now, he only needs to continue to use his methods to make the sisters Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer become his loyal slaves and be used by him. Watching Chen Lan walking step by step, the obsession in the eyes of sisters Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer became more intense. They completely forgot about Yu Wanying's existence and their original purpose. At this moment, they only had Chen Lan in their hearts. Chen Lan smiled slightly, and his smile seemed to be magical, making the two sisters Ji Wanner even more unable to extricate themselves. Sisters, I actually have something to ask you for help with. Chen Lan's voice was gentle and magnetic. Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer nodded at the same time, their voices trembling with excitement. Little brother, you said, as long as we can do it, we will definitely help you. Chen Lan's spiritual power was flowing rapidly where no one noticed, and the charm seed had completely taken root. Now, Chen Lan is the most important person in the world to Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer. Coupled with the fact that the two women already have some love-minded attributes, it is not impossible for Chen Lan to let them commit suicide now. He glanced at Yu Wanying, and then said calmly, actually, it's not a big deal. It's just this rebel who has opposed me several times. When Yu Wanying heard Chen Lan's words, she couldn't help but tremble in her heart. He has been thinking about quitting since just now. Chen Lan's terror was far greater than that of Huang Shu. The collapse of her inner belief and the pressure of dozens of strong men around her made Yu Wanying only think about how to escape. But with so many strong men who are also in the Tianshu realm surrounding him, even a proud man like Yi Jingtian might not be able to escape, let alone him. After hearing Chen Lan's words, he just wanted to beg for mercy. After all, he was also a strong man at the peak of Tianshu realm, and he was also a very important part of Huang Shu's plan. If he surrenders now, Chen Lan has no reason not to use him, but Chen Lan doesn't give him any chance at all. Sisters Ji Wanner and Ji Chaoer did not hesitate at all. They rushed directly towards Yu Wanying, and their powerful spiritual power burst out instantly. Yu Wanying was on guard, and instantly raised his protection, blocking the two women's combined attack. But they were not alone here. More than 20 Tianshu realm powerhouses behind Chen Lan did not move. Only Zhao Yan suddenly took action. Yu Wanying was originally not as good as Zhao Yan, but now he is even more confused. All the life-saving means were eliminated one by the two close friends he invited. Zhao Yan could not stop him at all, and he could not escape the siege. After a scream, Yu Wanying was knocked away by the two sisters Ji Wanner. He fell heavily to the ground, blood spurted from his mouth, and he was obviously seriously injured. Emperor Chenfeng, I surrender. I am willing to serve you with all my heart. Yu Wanying had never felt that death was so close, and the dignity of a strong man in the Tianshu realm had long been forgotten by him. But Chen Lan has no intention of giving up. He has no interest in subduing an old man like Yu Wanying, and he is not as good as the twin sisters Ji Wanner. Zhao Yan also immediately understood what Chen Lan meant. A ruthless look flashed in his eyes, and the spiritual power he had accumulated for a long time rushed towards Yu Wanying. After a roar, Yu Wanying disappeared from the world, and the 100,000 troops in the southern border also fell into despair. Yu Wanying was killed, and two strong men in the Tianshu realm turned against each other. With them, they could only let Chen Lan handle it. For them, Chen Lan did not have to kill them. Originally, the southern border of Muyu Immortal Dynasty was adjacent to Bingu Immortal Dynasty, and Chen Lan's next target was Bingu Immortal Dynasty. With these 100,000 soldiers and horses, it will be easier for him to take over the Bingu Immortal Dynasty after he defeats Chu Jun. Thinking of this, he turned to look at the two Tianshu realm powerhouses behind him. These two men were previously the commanders of the guarding party and were fully capable of leading these 100,000 people. You two will lead them to attack the Bingu Immortal Dynasty. Those who obey orders will live, and those who disobey orders will die. Chen Lan stood next to Yu Wanying's body, with cold and deep eyes. The two Tianshu realm experts pointed out by Chen Lan did not hesitate and nodded in agreement. In Chen Lan's eyes, Yu Wanying is just an insignificant chess piece, and his life and death are not important to Chen Lan. What's important is that he has successfully turned sisters Ji Wan'er and Ji Chao'er into his loyal slaves. These two women are not only powerful, but they are not from Dongzhou and know something about the outside world. With them following, Chen Lan can also save a lot of trouble. Two sisters, what should we do next? Chen Lan turned around, looked at sisters Ji Wan'er and Ji Chao'er, and asked with a smile. Brother Dijin, you can do whatever you say. We two sisters will be yours from now on. Ji Wan'er replied without hesitation, her eyes as passionate as fire. Chen Lan nodded. Ji Wan'er and Ji Chao'er were invited by Yu Wanying to help deal with Chen Lan, and their own strength and cultivation were not low. Even among the powerful people in the Tianshu realm, their strength belongs to the middle and upper reaches. With the two of them loyally accompanying them, they will be more comfortable dealing with Bingu Immortal Dynasty and Chu Jun. After handling everything here, the jade pendant on Chen Lan's waist once again emitted the light of the artifact, and the familiar environment slowly appeared and merged slowly. The next moment, Chen Lan and others arrived on the battlefield of Bingu Immortal Dynasty. On the battlefield here, Qinfang Immortal Dynasty has captured several cities, and the army of Bingu Immortal Dynasty has reached the front of Gushan City. Chu Jun is much sharper than Yu Wanying. As soon as the Tianshu realm expert from Qinfang Immortal Dynasty left, he had already discovered the clues and took action decisively. In just over 2 hours, he asked the Tianshu realm experts to clear the way, marched quickly, and successively recaptured several captured cities. At this time, the army of Bingu Immortal Dynasty had launched a counterattack under the personal leadership of Chu Jun, although he did not know what Chen Lan wanted to do by recalling Chen Fengxian Dynasty's powerful Tianshu realm. But it was obvious that a battle between the Qinfang Immortal Dynasty and the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, the strongest under the emperor, was about to begin. 50,000 Wind Guards and 26 Tianshu realm experts faced off against the elite of the Bingu Immortal Dynasty and his own patchwork of Tianshu realm experts. Bingu Immortal Dynasty not only represents itself at this moment, but also represents the attitude of Huangji Immortal Dynasty. Once this battle begins, it will be the beginning of determining the fate of Dongzhou. Chu Jun showed another breakthrough in his cultivation this time, but his appearance still looked like an old man. The continuous cover-up and escape had a great impact on him. Standing in the camp of Bingu Immortal Dynasty, Lord Chu stared at the Gushan city in front of him with eyes as bright as a torch. It was here that Chen Lan shattered his plan and changed his destiny of reaching the summit smoothly. Chen Lan, do you think that recalling the Tianshu realm experts from Qinfang Immortal Dynasty can change the situation of the war? Today, I will make you and your Qinfang Immortal Dynasty pay the price. Chu Jun had a lot of thoughts in his mind. Although he didn't know what Chen Lan wanted to do, but this time Huang Shu took action personally, he didn't believe that Chen Lan could make any waves. Even if Chen Lan made him look like this, he still didn't want to doubt his own skills and destiny. The next moment, Chen Lan appeared above Gushan City with a crowd of black people. Jun Chu, are you surprised? Is it surprising? Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully interrupting the Son of Destiny's plan in the Muyu Immortal Dynasty, and the reward is to improve the cultivation level by a small level. Current cultivation level. Peak of Tianshuan realm. As soon as Chen Lan arrived at Gushan City, the system's voice sounded again. Chen Lan was now only one step away from the Tianshu realm. Although this step stopped 90% of the Tianshuan realm experts, for people like Chen Lan who have never practiced except Yinyang Xiaoyao too, this is not a problem at all. Chen Lan, how can this be? Chu Jun looked at Chen Lan who suddenly appeared in front of him and the dark crowd behind him, and his mind was blank. Chen Lan alone was taken by a strong man from the Tianshu realm, and it was possible to teleport through space instantaneously, but with tens of thousands of Fengshan guards, how could they use space to teleport so many people at once? This is Chen Lan's last stop, so Chen Lan is not in a hurry, but enjoys Chu Jun's frightened eyes. Chu Jun, long time no see. You are serious, why didn't you say hello last time when you left? I was ready to see you off properly. Chu Jun has very strong control over his mind, and it is precisely because of this that he is also the son of epic destiny, and he also lives the longest. Chu Jun quickly came back to his senses, looking at the remaining fluctuations of the magic circle around Chen Lan, and he understood clearly. Based on his understanding of the art of formation, he had never heard of such a magical formation in the world. Emperor Chenfeng is really good at it. I cherish my life very much, but I don't dare bother the emperor to see me off. Chen Lan didn't seem to hear the irony in Chu Jun's words, and instead started exchanging business boasts with him. I can't compare to you. I am the crown prince of the Chenfeng immortal dynasty. As long as I thrive, I can naturally succeed to the throne. Unlike His Majesty the Bingu Emperor, who was just a son-in-law and a wanted criminal of the Bingu immortal dynasty, he actually became the Bingu Emperor as soon as he came back, and even killed the former emperor and Bingding Fang. This is a really good trick. Quote, Chen Lan's words were still trying to drive a wedge between Chu Jun and secretly telling the Bingu immortal dynasty's army and Tianshu realm experts that it was absolutely abnormal for Chu Jun to become the Bingu Emperor. But none of these Tianshu realm experts seemed willing to pay attention to Chen Lan. Their state was just like Shu Shuo's back then, hazy and chaotic, and they only knew how to blindly believe in Chu Jun. Chu Jun didn't care about Chen Lan's words. He believed in Huang Shu because of Huang Shu's ability. Although this ability has no effect on him or Yi Jingtian, Huang Shu has never failed except for the destined person he once deduced. Emperor Chenfeng, there is no need for you and me to resort to these tricks. It is true that we have not considered your teleportation array, but even so, our Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty's 10 Tianshu realm experts and an army of 400,000 are not made from dough. After Chu Jun finished speaking, he didn't want to talk nonsense anymore. Although there was a gap in strength between the two sides, compared to the Lin family, Xie family, and Yuening, the Bingu Immortal Dynasty's army combined with Chu Jun's formation was enough to fight against Chen Lan. Play music. Facing Chu Jun's bold words, Chen Lan didn't pay attention. She just smiled, with slut written all over her handsome face. As his words fell, Ji Weiner and Ji Chaoer walked out of the queue together, one holding a jade flute and the other holding a pipa, playing at the same time. As soon as the BGM sounded, Chen Lan suddenly felt heroic, and his peak Tianshuan realm strength burst out. Coupled with his unparalleled appearance and the majesty of the emperor of the Qinfengxian dynasty, his aura was even stronger than that of the Tianshu realm experts present. Then let's see how much you weigh. Chu Jun was still shocked by Chen Lan's slutty moves, but the 22 Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty had already exploded with spiritual power and became magnificent. The Wind God formation formed by 50,000 Wind God guards and 2 Tianshu realm deputy commanders was far more powerful than before. In addition, Chen Lan's current cultivation level is much higher than before, and the strength of Fengshen Ziying has surpassed the high stage of Tianshu realm and is approaching the peak. An overwhelming attack emerged, the spiritual power of various elements intertwined, and the largest war in Eastern continent in hundreds of years began. Although Chu Jun was stunned, he was already prepared. Not only the 400,000 troops formed a large formation that enveloped the surrounding area. The 10 Tianshu realm experts actually have a separate joint formation. The power of these 10 Tianshu realm experts are connected in a line by the formation. Each of them can use a massive amount of spiritual power equivalent to the 10 Tianshu realm experts. When martial arts are used, the power is doubled. Roar! The Xuanwu phantom rose in the sky above the 400,000 strong formation of the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty, which was led by Chu Jun himself. Its size was far larger than the Fengshen phantom, and a roar resounded through the sky. But strength is not directly proportional to size. The strength of Xuanwu shadow, which is like standing on the ground, is only comparable to that of Fengshen shadow. Both are the power of formations, and both are formed by emperors from both sides. King against king, general against general, the battle is enough to destroy the heaven and earth. Just the aftermath of the collision of martial arts between the two sides almost shattered the Gushan City defense formation. Once the protective formation of Gushan City is broken, the entire Gushan City will definitely be wiped out in an instant. After all, the current Gushan City is the territory of the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty. The Fengshen phantom controlled by Chen Lan suddenly made a handprint, and a huge pillar of fire rose into the sky. The diameter of the pillar of fire was already comparable to one leg of the huge Xuanwu shadow. The terrifying impact directly lifted the Xuanwu shadow away along with the 400,000 troops in the formation. In the sky, I saw Chu Jun being blasted into the sky by Chen Lan, and Chen Lan chased after him. The Tianshu realm experts on both sides followed in a tacit understanding. No matter which side they were, they all wanted to try their best to protect their emperor. As the battlefield rose into the sky, Chen Lan no longer had any scruples, as if he had obtained the late-stage Tianshu realm experience card, crazily enjoying the pleasure brought by powerful power. The formations of Chu Jun and Chen Lan were in a stalemate for a while, and no one could do anything to the other. However, the Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty overwhelmed Chu Jun in terms of quantity and quality. Therefore, even if two Tianshu realm powerhouses were assigned to the Fengshan formation, and sisters Jiwaner were assigned to protect Chen Lan personally, the 22 Tianshu realm powerhouses from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty would still form a stable formation. The 10 powerful men in the Tianshu realm. And with the 4 extra Tianshu realm experts assisting Chen Lan, the advantage of the Wind God formation gradually increased. Chen Lan, after fighting for a long time, Chu Jun has been suppressed, and it is obviously getting more and more difficult, and he can't help but feel a little anxious. Chen Lan didn't care about Chu Jun's mood. He had never heard of Fengshan Ziying's movements. The terrifying attacks came one after another. If Xuanwu's defense power hadn't been so amazing, he would have been defeated long ago. Xuanwu Cannon. As Chu Jun shouted, the spiritual power of Xuanwu Ziying surged all over his body, and finally gathered in his mouth, constantly compressing and growing. Finally, a ball of energy containing a terrifying and destructive aura gathered in front of Xuanwu Shadow's mouth. As long as Chu Jun controls it, the shocking blow that can destroy a strong man in the Tianshu realm will fall, but no one can predict where it will land. Holy shit, tailed beast Tama! Chen Lan exclaimed. The scene in front of him was really shocking to him. This terrifying aura and unique way of moving made Chen Lan immediately think of the move in his memory that was said to be able to destroy the world. How did you break this trick? While Chen Lan was still recalling, the terrifying aura had already erupted, with an impact powerful enough to repel Xuanwu Shadow's head. The energy ball turned into a stream of light and headed towards the head of Fengshan Shadow, where Chen Lan was. The place was blown away. Chen Lan reacted and wanted to dodge, but found that the speed was too fast and there was no possibility for him to dodge. At this moment, Zhao Yan and 2 other Tianshu realm experts suddenly appeared in front of Chen Lan. They have been paying attention to the battle between Chen Lan and Chu Jun since just now, and will immediately come to help if they find something wrong. A strong man at the peak of the Tianshu realm and 2 strong men at the late stage of the Tianshu realm, as well as Jiwaner and the 2 sisters, blocked 80% of the force of the attack at the same time. The remaining 20% of the force hit Fengshan Ziying's body firmly. Although there was still some damage, it was considered harmless compared to before. Good boy, this Italian cannon. Feeling the violent fluctuations in his breath after Xuanwu Phantom's attack, Chen Lan gritted his teeth and endured the impact of the previous impact on him. After the Xuanwu Shadow sent out the majestic blow just now, it also had a considerable impact on itself. The Wind God is angry, do it. Seizing the gap in the fluctuation of Xuanwu Shadow's aura, Chen Lan directly exploded with all his power. The terrifying power of the hurricane carried the laws of ice and fire, and its momentum was equally astonishing. Boom! The violent impact was accompanied by a huge roar, and the Xuanwu Shadow began to tremble violently, and its spiritual power continued to flicker and fluctuate. Xuanwu's defensive power was indeed amazing, and combined with Chu Jun's control, he was able to stabilize the shadow. Without stopping at all, while Chu Jun blocked the attack, the Xuanwu cannon once again accumulated power, and its terrifying aura approached the Fengshan Phantom. Chen Lan was well prepared this time. The space domain was unfolded. With the help of the Wind God formation, his control over space was also stronger than usual. The scope of the space domain was enough to cover everyone on both sides. Boom! A terrifying energy burst. The Xuanwu cannon suddenly impacted, and the space field shook violently, as if it was about to shatter. Chen Lan gritted his teeth and tried his best to maintain the stability of the field. At the same time, he activated the power of the Wind God formation to maximize the power of the hurricane. The huge Xuanwu cannon flew out, but its target was not the Fengshan Phantom, but heading straight towards Gushan city below. You're carrying out a sneak attack and you don't have martial ethics. Chen Lan was also startled by Chu Jun's actions, but fortunately he had already thought of how to break the tailed beast jade. He worked hard to keep the space field from being broken, and with the spiritual support of the wind god formation, the space channel opened, and the energy of the huge Xuanwu cannon poured into the space channel crazily and disappeared into the air. The next moment, the space channel appeared again, and the energy of the Xuanwu cannon that was introduced into the space channel was directed at the mouth of the Xuanwu shadow. Facing Chu Jun's frightened eyes, the terrifying destructive power was released, and the Xuanwu shadow that was originally powerless due to the two releases of the Xuanwu cannon was instantly shattered. Young man, rat tail juice. Seeing the collapsed Xuanwu shadow and the Bingu immortal dynasty army falling down like dumplings, Chen Lan not only did not add insult to injury but even sincerely offered valuable suggestions. But this kind of tolerance did not last long, because with the blessing of the wind god formation, his control of space was particularly strong. But since the Xuanwu shadow collapsed just now, he has been searching for Chu Jun's location, but his attention has swept over every falling dumpling, but he has never found Chu Jun's figure. Holy shit, no, the space realm can't seal him. Chen Lan just wanted to scold her at this moment. This Chu Jun was too difficult to kill, and the trouble Chu Jun brought to him was getting bigger every time. He really didn't know what kind of surprise he would get next time. If this kind of Lao Yin Pai's destined son hides in the dark, the risk is extremely high. But Chu Jun could escape, but the people with him would not have such good luck. In addition to the disintegrated Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty army, the Phantom of Fengshan was even higher in the sky, and there was a rare scene of dozens of Tianshu realm powerhouses fighting each other. Arriving at the battlefield of Tianshu realm, Chen Lan found that his space domain was completely unusable. Filled with dozens of terrifying auras, the space here was extremely chaotic. At this time, I am afraid that even the strong men in the Tianshu realm will not be able to tear open the space channel here. This also shows that as long as the formation of Chu Jun and these 10 Tianshu realm experts are broken, they will have no way to escape. Thinking of this, Chen Lan controlled the Phantom of Fengshan to keep approaching everyone. With the protection of the Tianshu realm experts from the Chenfeng Immortal Dynasty, Fengshan Ziying could barely see the formation on the opposite side. With the blessing of the Eye of Deception, Chen Lan's control over details was particularly strong, and he quickly found the flaw in the formation. Uncle Zhao, uncle. After seeing this clearly, Chen Lan quickly retreated and called Zhao Yan and Sun Hao at the same time. Zhao Yan and Sun Hao are the people closest to Chen Lan among this group of people, and they are also the top beings among this group of Tianshu realm powerhouses. Even if the weakness of the formation is found, Fengshan Ziying still cannot break the formation alone at this time, and the help of two people is necessary. Emperor. Although Zhao Yan and Sun Hao were confused, they had great trust in Chen Lan, and they also knew that Chen Lan's formation skills were quite impressive. Uncle Zhao. Go up later and we'll work together to storm the door of death. This formation is clearly separated from its forces. The Shengmen seems to be the weakest, but it is the place where the most concentrated strength is. The gate of death is powerful enough to reach the sky, but it is strong on the outside but weak on the inside. The two of you can break it together. Zhao Yan and Sun Hao nodded upon hearing this and turned around to take action. Chen Lan held them back again. Uncle Zhao. After the formation is broken, they will suffer a backlash. You can kill them with all your strength, but there is no need to leave anyone alive. Zhao Yan and Sun Hao looked at each other when they heard this. Even with their determination, they were a little surprised when they heard Chen Lan's words. You must know that a strong person in the Tianshu realm is already a rare existence among millions of people. In the past, in Dongzhou, even if the country was destroyed, the death of strong men in the Tianshu realm was very rare. Now, Chen Lan had just used the sisters of the Ji family to kill Yuening, who was in the late Tianshu realm, and now he actually wanted to continue killing strong men in the Tianshu realm. Now, it can be said that most of the Tianshu realm experts in the entire East continent have gathered here. If these 10 Tianshu realm experts fell at the same time in a great battle, their influence would not be weaker than the fall of the great emperor. This kind of influence is what Chen Lan wants. Huang Shu and Chu Jun have controlled these 10 Tianshu realm experts to maintain their formation at all costs. In this case, even if the Qingxin bell is in hand, it may be difficult to wake them up, not to mention that he has returned the Qingxin bell to Jizan. Since the person in front of you is already an unrelenting enemy, keeping him will only cause trouble in the future. Now that Emperor Bingu is far away in the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, if this Tianshu realm expert also dies here, the Bingu Immortal Dynasty will basically exist in name only. Sun Hao and Zhao Yan were only slightly surprised before returning to the battlefield and spreading the news to every Tianshu realm expert in the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty. Regarding their emperor's order, the powerful men of the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty did not hesitate at all, and they all stared at the formation of the 10 people in front of them. Chen Lan returned to Gushan City, dispersed the Fengshan formation, and asked the 2 deputy commanders of the Fengshan guards at the Tianshu level to help as well, hoping that no one would be left alive. At an altitude of hundreds of thousands of feet, Zhao Yan and Sun Hao followed Chen Lan's order. After a few faint attacks, they suddenly charged towards the powerful Death Gate. The spiritual swords in the hands of the 2 men flashed, and their whole bodies were shocked, and they struck with all their strength. The Death Gate of Chu Jun's formation is guarded by a strong man in the late Tianshu realm. Although this formation claims that everyone can use the powerful power of 10 people combined, the consumption on each person is also huge. Especially for those who guard the Death Gate, their power is far inferior to the other 9. This is also the reason why Chu Jun concentrated all the breathtaking momentum here. Faced with such terrifying power, most people would not attack here at all. But Chen Lan discovered this. Faced with the sudden surprise, the strong man guarding the Death Gate could only deal with it with all his strength. After all, he is also a strong man in the late Tianshu realm. Even with his own strength, he cannot be slaughtered by others. Sun Hao and Zhao Yan were not surprised. With the blow just now, they had determined that what Chen Lan said was true. The weakness of this formation was the door of death. Almost at the same time, Chen Fengxian, who was still going around with formations, suddenly started attacking the Death Gate towards all the Tianshu realm powerhouses. Caught off guard, even with the help of the other 9 people, the people from the Death Gate were unable to resist. After being hit with several attacks, their aura began to fluctuate. As the auras of those guarding the Death Gate became unstable, the entire formation began to show flaws. No one present was a fool. After discovering this, dozens of Tianshu realm experts took the opportunity to attack like crazy. In just a few breaths, the formation that was so powerful just now completely lost its luster. The formation was forcibly broken through, and as expected, the 10 people in the formation suffered backlash, with blood and energy surging all over their bodies, and the movement of their spiritual energy blocked. Following the prompts from Sun Hao and Zhao Yan, the powerful Tianshu realm experts in the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty had already anticipated this. Without any hesitation, everyone seized this opportunity and used all their killing moves. Among Chu Jun's 10 Tianshu realm experts, the weaker ones were strangled almost instantly, while the stronger ones only lasted a little longer. The chaotic space here would probably make it impossible to teleport within a few days. How could the 20 Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty let a few injured people fly away in front of their eyes? After a while, the battlefield calmed down. Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty only had 2 Tianshu realm powerhouses slightly injured, so they killed Bingu Immortal Dynasty and Wangji Immortal. To the 10 powerful men in the Tianshu realm, Emperor, all 10 Tianshu realm experts from the Bingu Immortal Dynasty have been strangled. More than half of Bingu Immortal Dynasty's 400,000 strong army suffered casualties, and the rest have all surrendered. The person who came to deliver the message was Zhao Yan. More than 30 Tianshu realm experts fought in a brawl, and in the end, 10 Tianshu realm experts fell. Even if we look at Dongzhou for nearly 10,000 years, this battle is unique. Chen Lan nodded when he heard this. Although this battle was shocking, it was actually very short. What puzzled him the most was Jun Chu. Chu Jun ran away in front of him several times, and each time he paid a seemingly huge price, and it looked like he was already old. But every time we meet again, he can still continue to be active and even more energetic than before. The most important thing is that with Chen Lan's current methods, he can't be caught at all. Chu Jun can even disappear instantly in his space domain, which was something that Lin Fei's magical space jade pendant could not do before. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully interrupting the plan of the Son of Destiny, and being rewarded for improving his cultivation by a small level. Current cultivation level. Early stage of Tianshu realm. While Chen Lan was still thinking, the sound of the system suddenly sounded. As the sound fell, the breath in Chen Lan's body became more and more solid. He could feel that he was more sensitive to the surroundings, and he had a deeper understanding of the laws of ice and fire that he had previously understood. This system can not only improve cultivation, but also directly provide insights. Emperor, it doesn't matter if Chen Lan breaks through. This shocks the Ji family sisters, Zhao Yan and Sun Hao around them. Chen Lan felt the changes in his body and felt ashamed when facing everyone's gaze. It's nothing. After experiencing the big battle just now, I broke through to a small level. It's not worth mentioning. It's not worth mentioning. Quote. In the hearts of Zhao Yan and others, tens of thousands of divine beasts rushed past. Do you want to listen to what you are saying? Just a small realm. Is this an ordinary small realm? This is the chasm between Tianshuan realm and Tianshu realm. Although it is not surprising that Chen Lan can break through to the Tianshu realm, at this speed and age, I am afraid that only the new Emperor Huang Shu from the Wangji immortal dynasty can compare with him. No one paid attention to him anymore, not even the sisters of the Ji family who were possessed of charm, chose not to look at him after hearing Chen Lan's angry remarks just now. Chen Lan didn't pay attention. The system's voice just reminded him that since Chu Jun's problem couldn't be solved by himself, he could ask the system about the plugin. Tongzi, what's going on with Mr. Chu? As usual, shouldn't you give me all the tools to catch him in advance? Chu Jun's skill is special, it is a direct transaction with the heavenly way of the mysterious spirit world. It cannot be solved until the host does not have the power to break through the heavenly way in this world. The way of heaven. Am I not bound by the way of heaven? The host is only unfettered and cannot control the way of heaven. Please pay attention to the question. Chen Lan was stunned when he heard this. The so-called freedom from restraints means not interfering with each other. That means there's nothing I can do against Mr. Chu, right? The host can collect the complete space law fragments as soon as possible, and the space domain constructed by using the complete space law with the host's physique can transcend the way of heaven, and can naturally isolate Lord Chu from transactions with the way of heaven in this world. Then can I choose my own reward next time? No, I'm sorry. Half a day has passed, and the troubles in various places have been completely resolved. Not only did the Chenfeng immortal dynasty not suffer much losses, but they directly defeated the Tianshu realm experts of the Bingu immortal dynasty. The 5 Tianshu realm experts who were loyal to the royal family of the Bingu immortal dynasty have all fallen, but the Bingu emperor has not reacted at all. I guess he may not be in the Bingu immortal dynasty at all. Chen Lan came back to his senses and looked up at Zhao Yan and Sun Hao. Sun Hao also nodded when he heard this. He also felt that Chen Lan was right. With the strength of the Bingu emperor, if he were in the Bingu immortal dynasty, the things here would definitely not be hidden from him, but now almost all the information of the Bingu immortal dynasty has been destroyed. The powerful Tianshu realm and the 400,000 strong army were enough to make the powerful emperor pay attention. However, from the beginning to the end, the Bingu emperor did not even make a sound, which showed that he was probably not in the Bingu immortal dynasty. Emperor, now that the chaos everywhere has subsided, what should we do next? Chen Lan had already thought about what to do next, so she did not hesitate when faced with Zhao Yan's question. Now that the Bingu immortal dynasty has lost all its heritage, and the whereabouts of the Bingu emperor are unknown, there is no need for the Bingu immortal dynasty to continue to exist. Since Huang Shu wants to unify Dongzhou, then I will help him. Chen Lan looked at Sun Hao with a smile. Uncle, you can lead the border troops to defeat the Bingu immortal dynasty. In today's Bingu immortal dynasty, the most powerful ones are the Tianshuan realm experts, who are unable to withstand Sun Hao's attack. As commanded, Sun Hao nodded very seriously, and then Chen Lan continued. I will take the others to Liuyang City. Huang Shu has a big plan. I'm afraid the Wangji immortal dynasty is not as simple as it seems. Now in the entire Dongzhou, only the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty and the Huangji Immortal Dynasty are left among the 4 original Immortal Dynasties. After taking over the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty occupied 2/3 of the land of Dongzhou. Although the territory is huge, the Huangji Immortal Dynasty has been preparing for many years to unify Dongzhou. It can be said that both the Muyu Immortal Dynasty and the Bingu Immortal Dynasty died at the hands of Huang Shu. No one knows how much preparation they have made within the Huangji Immortal Dynasty. At the same time, in the imperial palace of Huangjixian Dynasty, 3 powerful emperors sat opposite each other, and the entire imperial palace was filled with an aura of violence for several miles. That was Huang Shu, Emperor Huangji, and Emperor Bingu. In the middle of the 3 of them was an orange ball of light, which continuously pulled the power of the 3 emperors and finally fed it all back to Huang Shu. Suddenly, a burst of space fluctuation appeared, and Chu Jun appeared in the hall out of thin air, falling behind Huang Shu. At this time, Chu Jun could no longer stand up. This time he paid a higher price than before, which made his already dilapidated body even more unbearable. The whole body seemed to have been hollowed out of flesh and blood by something, leaving only the wrinkled skin wrapping the bones. The aura throughout the body fluctuated greatly, and the realm had a faint tendency to decline. Sensing his state, Huang Shu frowned. He opened his eyes and looked at Chu Jun, then took out a pill containing huge vitality from his arms and threw it to him. Feeling Huang Shu's gaze, Chu Jun's prostrate body began to struggle vigorously. He raised his hand to catch the rare 9th grade elixir and stuffed it directly into his mouth. When the elixir enters the mouth, the huge vitality that is enough to give birth to human flesh and bones seems to have no effect. After breathing heavily for several times in a row, Chu Jun's breath finally became more stable. Although his body was still broken, he was finally able to get up on his own. Owner. Huang Shu nodded. She had already expected Chu Jun's failure. After all, Chen Lan had ruined her plan not once or twice. From the initial plan to seize power for Xie Yu of the Qinfeng Immortal Dynasty and Lin Fei's conquest route, they were all interrupted by Chen Lan. Later, Chu Jun, who had almost succeeded in seizing power in the Bingu Immortal Dynasty, and Yi Zanshan, who rebelled in the Muyu Immortal Dynasty, although her plans were ambitious, they were all in line with God's will. She has been able to vaguely feel God's will since she was a child, but she doesn't care. She just wants to live in her own way. But God's will cannot be violated. After she violated God's will again and again, God sent her Huang Chen. It was a pain that she could never forget. Her talent and cultivation, which she was proud of, were ruined and played with wantonly. This should have been an inner demon that she could not forget, but God gave her guidance again at this time. This time, she chose to obey God's will and follow fate's arrangements. It was indeed the right thing to follow God's will. She returned to the top in the shortest time, and she controlled the entire Huangji Immortal Dynasty in the most direct way. Even the great emperor could not escape her control. Tianming helped her regain her glory and strength, and Tianming helped her take revenge and sentenced Huang Chen to death. From that moment on, she was a messenger of destiny, and she would obey the will of God for the rest of her life. She wants to be the queen of the entire Eastern continent. This is not her ideal, just because she is her destiny. But when everything was going very smoothly, Chen Lan suddenly appeared. The prince of Qinfengxian Dynasty, who was originally just a fool waiting to die and doing nothing, seems to have been disobeying the destiny from the day Xie Yu entered Kyoto. What puzzled Huang Shu the most was that Chen Lan actually succeeded. The destiny cannot be violated, but according to God's will, Yi Jingtian, Lin Fei, and Xie Yu, who were supposed to control the 4 directions, all died in his hands. Why could Chen Lan succeed? Why did the fate that made her even Huang Shu surrender seem to be unable to work on Chen Lan? Those who disobey the destiny of heaven will be punished by heaven. Huang Shu couldn't remember how many times she said this, but at this moment, she still chose to believe in destiny. Compared to her, Chu Jun and others could not detect the control of fate on them at all. They were just like walking zombies, acting out what fate meant to them. Is he an invincible god of war, a wise man who has no plans left, or is he just a ridiculous doll? When Huang Shu thought of this, his eyes were inevitably lonely, but he quickly came back to his senses. Chu Jun also recovered a little at this time. His rickety body was trembling and he saluted Huang Shu. Owner. Chen Lan didn't know where he found a magic circle that can teleport over long distances. He took more than 20 Tianshu realm experts and cleared all our arrangements in just half a day. In front of Gushan City, I led the Bingu Immortal Dynasty's 400,000 troops and 10 Tianshu realm experts to fight against him, and the Xuanwu formation was broken. I guess that the 10 Tianshu realm experts are probably in danger. The Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty is lost. Huang Shu was not too surprised when she heard this. She had already guessed it when she saw Chu Jun looking so embarrassed. But the Bingu Emperor on the side was shocked when he heard this. His eyes were still empty. Hundreds of years of hard work had been destroyed in one moment, and the fate of the royal family was unpredictable, but all he could do was to be shocked. Huang Shu didn't pay attention to Emperor Bingu's abnormality and thought about it for a while, although Chen Lan solved the problem much faster than she originally expected. But she is not far from a breakthrough. Once she breaks through to the late stage of the Great Emperor realm, she is confident that she can defeat any powerful Emperor realm. Calling all the Tianshu realm experts from the Wangji Immortal Dynasty to the border, you will personally set up a defensive formation. You will only defend but not attack to delay time. Chu Jun was shocked when he heard this. Did Huang Shu think Chen Lan would come directly to attack the Wangji Immortal Dynasty? But then he thought of Chen Lan's virtue and nodded immediately. I'll go right away. After speaking, Chu Jun no longer stayed. Now, almost all the senior officials of Wangjixian dynasty are under Huang Shu's control, and Chu Jun has the highest authority below Huang Shu. Therefore, no matter how desolate and miserable he behaves, the Tianshu realm experts from the Wangji Immortal Dynasty will not disobey him. Looking at Chu Jun's retreating figure, Huang Shu's eyes flickered with hope. This expression hadn't appeared on her face for who knows how long, and no one knew what she was looking forward to. In Liuyang City, Jizan and others were ready because a total of 35 Tianshu realm experts suddenly appeared from the Wangji Immortal Dynasty. The Wangji Immortal Dynasty has a long history. When Emperor Qianfeng had not yet achieved the throne of the Great Emperor, the Wangji Immortal Dynasty already existed. Everyone knows that the Wangji Immortal Dynasty has a profound foundation, but no one knows how deep it really is. Now Chen Lan's one after another slutty operation has forced the Wangji Immortal Dynasty to a dead end. Including the 5 Tianshu realm experts who died in Gushan City, the Wangji Immortal Dynasty actually had a total of 40 Tianshu realm experts. Commander Ji, if they attack the city, how can we resist them? Chen Yang was at a loss at this time. When Chen Lan sent 10 Tianshu realm experts to Liuyang City before, he didn't think it was necessary. But now, after seeing the terrifying number of Tianshu realm powerhouses in the Wangji Immortal Dynasty, he knew. The Wangji Immortal Dynasty is not only filled with great emperors, but also powerful people in the Tianshu realm. Although Jizan is much calmer than Chen Yang, he can't figure out the situation. Although he has the artifact Qingxin Bell in his hand, but with 10 Tianshu realm experts resisting 35, he feels that they may not survive for half a day before being cold. Under Jizan's attention, the 35 Tianshu realm experts on the opposite side had no intention of attacking. Among the crowd, there was a maid supporting an old figure. That person seemed to be their backbone and arranger. Set up a formation. Jizan is a little confused. Is there any formation in this world that can withstand the power of 35 Tianshu realm experts? Even if there is, if they want to attack the city, shouldn't they get closer? Why are the formations set up in the Wangjixian dynasty? He had been carefully paying attention to the changes on the other side. After half a stick of incense, the opponent's formation seemed to have been properly arranged. The next moment, all the Tianshu realm experts exuded momentum, and the magic circle formed a huge column that could hold up the sky and the sea. What makes Jizan feel strange is that the opponent seems to have no intention of attacking, and has stayed there quietly since the formation. Jizan did not dare to relax at all, but a wave of magic formation suddenly appeared in the sky above Liuyang City. Jizan and the 10 Tianshu realm experts immediately prepared themselves for fear of being surprised by the array on the opposite side. What came was indeed a surprise. Chen Lan, dressed in a bright red robe, appeared in the air first, followed immediately by more than 20 Tianshu realm powerhouses. Emperor. Seeing Chen Lan's figure, Jizan and others subconsciously retracted their momentum, fearing that their pressure would hurt Chen Lan. But soon, they discovered the problem. Emperor, are you in the Tianshu realm? After Gushan found out about this, he fell into silence completely. How could they remember that Chen Lan was still in the Tianquan realm not long ago, so why was he now in the Tianshu realm? Although there are many Tianshu realm experts here now, Dongzhou's hundreds of years of accumulation are all here. How old is Chen Lan? Afterwards, Gushan and others' eyes shifted to the more than 20 Tianshu realm powerhouses behind Chen Lan. They thought of the battle between the Huangji immortal dynasty and the Tianshu realm powerhouses gathered just now. Could it be that the Chenfeng immortal dynasty and the Huangji immortal dynasty were about to officially start a war? Just when they were shocked by Chen Lan again and again, Chen Lan's eyes saw the large formation of Huangji immortal dynasty. Jun Chu, what a boy, you can run faster than me. Under the eyes of Po Luan, Chen Lan saw Chu Jun in the crowd across from him at a glance. Although he was more embarrassed than the last time they met, Chen Lan still saw him at a glance. Chen Lan was also very surprised at the speed of his return to the Huangji immortal dynasty. You know, the reason why Chen Lan and the others can quickly teleport to these places is the result of the great teleportation array and a large number of spiritual stones. Chu Jun, this kid, relies entirely on the protection of heaven. Looking up again, Chen Lan was completely speechless. The column opposite that seemed to be able to hold up the sky was not actually the entire formation. The array was far beyond the perception range of ordinary Tianshu realm experts, but Chen Lan, who had already broken through to the Tianshu realm, could still see it clearly with the help of his eyes of deception. The column that went straight into the clouds turned out to be just a leg of Xuanwu. Chu Jun's Xuanwu formation this time actually incorporated the power of 35 Tianshu realm experts. This also makes its size nearly 10,000 times larger than the previous Xuanwu shadow. Holy shit, super evolved. Gushan and others saw Chen Lan's eyes twinkling and knew that he must be observing the magic circle in front of them, so they didn't dare to disturb him. But they really couldn't understand what Chen Lan meant by super evolution. Emperor, do you see anything? Seeing that Gushan remained silent, Zhao Yan took the initiative to ask. He had some understanding of Chen Lan's thoughts. Since Chen Lan has brought so many people to Liuyang City this time, it is basically impossible for him to be kind. Uncle Zhao, do you still remember the Xuanwu formation that Lord Chu set up in Gushan City? Chen Lan did not explain super evolution directly, but asked Zhao Yan. Zhao Yan nodded. The magic formation is infinitely mysterious. An army of 400,000 can almost withstand the formation of 100,000 wind god guards and 2 Tianshu realm experts. It should not be underestimated. Chen Lan heard this and pointed at Optimus Prime opposite. What do you think that cylinder looks like? Like what? Zhao Yan looked in the direction of Chen Lan's finger with some confusion, and then he saw that the bottom of the cylinder looked like a toe. This can't be a leg of the Xuanwu formation. When Chen Lan heard this, he spread his hands and sighed helplessly. Xuanwu is so big that it can't be stewed in one pot. If this Xuanwu is real, throw it into the endless sea and stew it, and the entire endless sea will turn into a pot of soup. Ding! Congratulations to the host's force for successfully taking over the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty, completely interrupting the destined trajectory of the Son of Destiny in the Ice Moon Immortal Dynasty. Reward: Eyes of Breaking Delusion. Pull of Delusion, the ultimate enhanced version of Pupil of Delusion, allows you to observe more meticulously and distinguish the types of desires more clearly. Chen Lan, who was still immersed in fantasy, suddenly heard the sound of the system and immediately came to his senses. Although the Bingu Immortal Dynasty is already in the bag, it has only been in such a short time, so it must not have been completely won yet. At this time, the system found a reason to give him a reward, specifying that it would be something he could use immediately. Looking at the huge legs in front of them, Zhao Yan, Gushan and others were shocked. They did not respond to Chen Lan's heartless words. See the reactions of everyone around you. Chen Lan stopped joking. Okay, Mr. Chu can blow it down if the wind is strong now. How can he control such a large magic circle? So they should only have such a big battle for deterrence and defense. The defensive power of this Xuanwu formation is astonishing. For such a large formation, I am afraid that the Emperor must be the one to break it. After hearing Chen Lan's words, everyone felt relieved. What do you mean, the Emperor, that they go to such great lengths just to scare us? Although Chen Lan said very confidently, they did not dare to let down their guard easily due to the huge pressure ahead. Upon hearing this, Chen Lan's eyes moved and looked at Huang Jixian's direction towards Kyoto. I don't know why, but from the moment he arrived at Liuyang City, he always felt vaguely uneasy. In that direction, there was an aura spreading that made him feel a little sad. It's not a threat, it's a defense. They are giving Huang Shu time. Chen Lan's words were shocking. No one understood how he knew this, only he himself knew. As the leader of these epic-level Sons of Destiny, Huang Shu must be the biggest boss in the Dongzhou dungeon. Such people will retreat before the decisive battle, and then break through the realm at the last critical moment and come out to kill everyone. Chen Lan doesn't want to wait until that time. The best way now is to interrupt her breakthrough like she did to Xie Yu, or kill her before she breaks through further. Although Zhao Yan and others were puzzled, they already had enough trust in Chen Lan due to their previous experience, so they just had to follow orders. Although Chen Lan knew it in his heart, he was helpless in the face of this Xuanwu formation that gathered all the secrets of the entire Wangji immortal dynasty. According to his estimation, even if the opponent did not fight back and allowed Chen Fengxian to attack these 30 or so Tianshu realm experts, the Xuanwu formation would not be affected. As long as they have enough resources such as spiritual stones and elixirs, they can basically drag down the Chenfang immortal dynasty indefinitely. If this were Chen Lan before, he might really be helpless, but the system reward just now was just a reminder for him. The key to breaking this Xuanwu formation must be the newly upgraded Eye of Deception. Everyone is resting in Liuyang City. Uncle Zhao and Commander Ji, please come with me to take a closer look at this formation. After breaking through the Tianshu realm, Chen Lan had the ability to sense space and teleport through space. Coupled with his space laws, his understanding and application of space instantly surpassed that of Zhao Yan and Ji Zan. Under Chen Lan's guidance, the three of them quickly took turns to be sent to various formations of the Xuanwu formation. First, he looked at the legs of the Xuanwu shadow closest to Liuyang City, and then the tail and tortoise shell. At each formation point, there are several Tianshu realm powerhouses working together to guard it. The Xuanwu formation formed by the combined efforts of 35 Tianshu realm powerhouses is almost invulnerable. Finally, Chen Lan and the others came to the position of Xuanwu Shadow's head, the familiar position of the main formation, and it was the familiar person who was here. Yo, isn't this the Ice Moon Emperor? I didn't expect to meet him again so soon. But it's only been half a day's work. Why does the Ice Moon Emperor seem to have aged dozens of years? This is already the third time Chen Lan and Chu Jun have met, and the fourth time Chen Lan and Chu Jun have fought against each other. Chu Jun was not angry when he heard Chen Lan's ridicule. Huang Shu had already made it clear to him before coming. No matter how Chen Lan behaves, no matter how good the counterattack opportunity is, if he gives up all of it and only thinks about defense and clings to the border, he can hold Chen Lan back. When Huang Shu succeeds in breaking through, the entire Dongzhou will be in the possession of the Wangji immortal dynasty. Emperor Chenfang, there is no need to say more. The emperor has obtained 3 of the 4 great immortal dynasties in Dongzhou. Now I only want to protect the Wangji immortal dynasty. Please raise your noble hand, emperor. Chu Jun's words were very pleasant, and he surrendered without any hesitation. He knows very well that his task is to delay time. A truly smart person will never complacently think that he can win and cause trouble. Not to mention it was just a matter of submission. Even if he was asked to kowtow to Chen Lan and ask Chen Lan to stop, he would not hesitate. As for the many Wangjixian and Chaoshanshu realm experts behind Chu Jun, they did not show any displeasure when faced with Chu Jun's undignified remarks. What the Bingu Emperor said is really nice. I'm going to hold my hand high now and wait until you are fully prepared before starting the war, right? Let me guess, as Huang Shu, the emperor of the Wangji immortal dynasty, currently in seclusion in Kyoto. After you delayed it for a few days, she made a breakthrough in cultivation and then came out to kill everyone and unify Dongzhou. Chen Lan's words were very casual, but when they fell into Chu Jun's ears, they were like a bolt from the blue, making his head buzz. How did Chen Lan know? Apart from him and Huang Shu, no third person should know this news. Yes, literally no third person knows. Because whether it is the Emperor Wangji and Emperor Bingu in the Wangjixian dynasty in Kyoto, or the 35 Tianshu realm powerhouses behind him now, At this time, it is simply a high-level Walking Dead. Although his words and deeds are as usual, and he is even still clear-minded and living in heaven, subconsciously he is already Huang Shu's slave, like a doll. The only ones who can really see everything clearly are Huang Shu and Chu Jun, the two sons of destiny. In the destiny, Chu Jun originally regards Huang Shu as the main one, so he will never betray. Seeing Chu Jun's shocked and dilated pupils, Chen Lan smiled disdainfully. It seems that I guessed it right. Chu Jun managed to calm down and looked at Chen Lan solemnly. What do you know? Chen Lan shook his head. I don't know much. For example, I have no idea how you control the Emperor Wangji, Emperor Bingu, and all the powerful people in the Tianshu realm. Chapter 64. Chu Jun could control himself not to get angry at Chen Lan's words and become distracted. But he couldn't control his shock, because Chen Lan's words were really unacceptable to him. Not only did Chen Lan know that Huang Shu was preparing to break through in Kyoto at this time, but he also knew that the two great emperors Huangji and Bingu and the 35 Tianshu realm experts were all under control. For him and Huang Shu, this secret was no less than a secret. This is their destiny. Even the art of calculating the secrets of heaven that he is proud of can only give a rough estimate. It is impossible for someone like Chen Lan to know it so clearly. If it were Chen Lan before, he would indeed not be able to see this clearly, but the system had just opened a new link for him. Chen Lan took the Eyes of Deception 2.0 and looked at the entire Xuanwu formation. He found that everyone here was strange. They all have an extremely rich hazy aura, the same hazy aura that affected Chen Yang's mind before. The people in front of them were all filled with this aura, almost covering up their original emotions, and they were all controlled by this aura. It can be seen that the methods Huang Shu used on Chen Yang were already very light. She probably didn't want Chen Yang, the only person willing to help him, to turn into a walking corpse, so she left a glimmer of hope. After the Eye of Destruction advanced, Chen Lan also completely saw this aura, which was an extremely sad emotion. All the original emotions disappeared, leaving only endless sadness, driving the body to act. This power not only continues to grow over time, but also continues to spread. I am afraid that as long as you have been in contact with these people for a long time, you will be affected by this power unknowingly. After discovering the key to the problem, Chen Lan naturally knew how to solve the problem. The best way to deal with this force is of course the Qingxin bell. Although these Tianshu realm experts have been deeply affected, the Qingxin bell is also a magical weapon after all. Using the power of Tianshu realm experts to activate the ringtone is enough to stop them for a few breaths of time. As long as the powerful Tianshu realm opponent on the opposite side can stop for a few breaths and the Xuanwu formation pauses for a moment, the formation can be broken. You can even take down all these Tianshu realm powerhouses. Chen Lan, who are you? Just when Chen Lan was planning a clearance plan in his mind, Chu Jun finally suppressed the shock in his heart and asked. Chen Lan was still calculating where to start to break the formation, so he was not in a hurry. I am Emperor Chen Fang, and I am also an ordinary practitioner. Chu Jun was not affected by Chen Lan's words, but stared at him with cold eyes. Chen Lan, all actions taken by my master and I are based on fate and obey God's will. Those who disobey the destiny of heaven will be punished by heaven. Chen Lan smiled disdainfully. He knew destiny from the moment he traveled to this world. Disobeying destiny was also the purpose of the system in bringing him to this world. At first, he was scared too. But after such a long time, he killed 3 epic sons of destiny and slept with their heroine. He also made Chu Jun half-disabled, and at the same time continued to destroy Huang Shu's plans, disobeying the destiny but getting better and better. Even if there is a slight risk, isn't this more interesting than 996? You only know how to follow destiny and obey God's will. Little did you know that God's destiny must obey my order, and God's will must also follow my will. Jehi. Ignoring Chu Jun's expression as if he had eaten shit, after Chen Lan finished pretending to beep, there was a heart-stopping weird laugh. Then, Chen Lan's eyes suddenly flashed with golden light, and he found the key to breaking the formation. Commander Ji, Qingxin Bell. After the space teleportation, Chen Lan shouted loudly. Ji Zan reacted quickly and took out the Qingxin Bell and handed it to Chen Lan. Chen Lan has now broken through to the Tianshu realm. Although he is only at the early stage of the Tianshu realm, in terms of the amount of spiritual energy alone, the 35 Tianshu realm experts in front of him combined may not be as good as him. After taking the Qingxin bell, without any hesitation, huge spiritual power was poured into it. The Qingxin bell was suspended in front of Chen Lan, and the crisp ringing sounded throughout the surroundings. The calming sound of the Qingxin bell can be heard within a radius of thousands of miles. The ones closest to the Qingxin bell are the weakest among the 35 Tianshu realm powerhouses of the Huangji immortal dynasty. The Qingxin bell was the most obvious help to them, and it also gave Chen Lan and the others the most time to break the formation. Sure enough, as the Qingxin bell rang again and again, these people seemed to have an epiphany. Their whole hearts were lost and they just stood there, motionless. Seeing this situation, Chen Lan and the other three were overjoyed, and Bafang Johnny sacrificed 8 sharp knives that were comparable to divine weapons. In Chen Lan's hands, they exerted a powerful attack power that was far superior to the ordinary late-stage Tianshu realm. Jizan and Zhao Yan are both veteran experts at the top of the Tianshu realm. Although they have never been able to reach the threshold of the Great Emperor, there are few people in the Tianshu realm who can match them. When the two of them saw Chen Lan's actions, they didn't hesitate at all. They seized the opportunity when the Xuanwu formation was stagnant, unleashed their strongest blow, and followed Chen Lan's attack position to attack together. Boom! After the blow, several Tianshu realm powerhouses who were distracted had come back to their senses, but the Qingxin bell failed to pull them out of the control of that force. Fortunately, the blow just now had an effect, and cracks began to appear in the entire Xuanwu formation from this point. The originally indestructible Xuanwu formation looked like it might break at any time. The powerful Wangjixian Chaoshan Shu realm who regained his consciousness began to work hard to repair the formation, but such a huge formation could not be repaired very quickly. Chen Lan and the others would not give them this chance. The three of them didn't hesitate at all. After seeing the crack, they once again mobilized their spiritual power and struck with all their strength. The cracks in the Xuanwu formation are getting bigger and bigger. As a person in charge of the formation, Chu Jun of course also discovered this. He guessed that Chen Lan might have a way to break the formation, but he didn't expect that he could break his carefully arranged formation so easily. If Chen Lan and the others were allowed to break the Xuanwu formation, everyone in the formation would suffer considerable backlash. Especially for himself, with his current physical condition, if the formation he presided over was broken, it could directly kill him. Disband the formation. After Chu Jun figured everything out, he acted very quickly and immediately took the initiative to disperse the Xuanwu formation. Even if it is not for oneself, being able to retain as much of the strength of the 35 Tianshu realm experts as possible will also be helpful for the subsequent battles. On the other side, when Chen Lan and the others were preparing to give the Xuanwu formation the final blow, the Xuanwu formation dispersed on its own. But the attacks of the three people were already ready, so of course it was impossible to just let it go. The next moment, 3 extremely terrifying attacks were directed at the weakest Tianshu realm powerhouses in front of them. The formation was completely controlled by Chu Jun. At the critical moment when those Tianshu realm experts were still dispersing, the attacks from Chen Lan and others were already in front of them. At the same time that the Xuanwu formation dispersed, the few Tianshu realm experts with weaker cultivation levels from the Wangjixian dynasty also perished. Chu Jun was also aware of the situation here, but compared to them, being able to protect most people from backlash was considered a good result. The rest of the people didn't feel anything was wrong and just followed Lord Chu's orders. Everyone, quickly return to Yan'an Pass and activate the city defense formation. After Chu Jun dispersed the Xuanwu formation, he immediately ordered everyone to return to Yan'an Pass on the border of Wangjixian dynasty without stopping. He was different from Huang Shu. No matter how great the shock Chen Lan caused to him, he would not question his destiny. After the Xuanwu formation was broken, he went back to defend the city. Anyway, his purpose was just to delay time. As long as Huang Shu succeeds in breaking through, fate will still be on their side. After Chen Lan broke through the Xuanwu formation, he did not continue to pursue it. After all, there were only 3 of them. He had just found the shortcomings of the formation and was able to break it. If the 3 of them run to Yan'an Pass at this time, and once Chu Jun is forced into danger and chooses to attack instead of defend, then the three of them will definitely not be able to withstand the siege of 30 Tianshu realm experts. Moreover, Chen Lan himself also had something very important to confirm. Thinking of this, the space channel in front of Chen Lan and the others opened, and in a few breaths they arrived at 600 City, hundreds of miles away. In Liuyang City, all the Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty were ready to go. In the time just now, they had recovered all the spiritual energy they had consumed in the previous battle in Gushan City. As long as Chen Lan gave the order, they could charge again at any time. After Chen Lan returned to Liuyang City, he did not speak to anyone, but used his eyes to look at the people around him. Especially the two sisters Ji Waner and Li Chaoer, Chen Lan's eyes stayed on them for the longest time. The golden pupils operating under the Eye of Destruction carried a majesty that could penetrate everything, making both Ji Waner and sister feel a little uncomfortable. After looking around, Chen Lan asked everyone not to act rashly, and walked alone into the main hall of the city lord's mansion in Liuyang City, closed the door, and used the space field to isolate the inside and outside. System, should you explain it to me? The reason why Chen Lan did this was entirely because when he used the Eye of Deception 2.0 for the first time just now, he not only saw the strange aura on the Tianshu realm strongman of the Wangji immortal dynasty. On his own body, there was also an aura that he couldn't understand. That aura was different from the aura that Huang Shu used to control people. It is not a sad or painful breath, but very warm and kind. This aura is 10,000 times stronger than that of those controlled by Huang Shu, and it spreads to the surroundings all the time. It can be said that anyone who is close to Chen Lan will be enveloped by this aura, and then feel warm and friendly. But even though there is such a huge difference between the two breaths, Chen Lan can still see that the two breaths are very similar in nature. Especially the ability to spread and influence people's emotions is almost the same thing. From then on, Chen Lan had some speculations in his mind, so as soon as the matter was over, he quickly returned to Liuyang City, wanting to take a good look at the impact of his aura on the people around him. The result of the observation is that the longer people are in contact with Chen Lan, the more of this aura they carry. Just like Chen Yang and Xu Shuo before, Ji Waner and Ji Chaoer are completely different from the others. Theoretically, they followed Chen Lan for the shortest time, but the richness of their aura far exceeded that of Zhao Yan, Jizan and others. It can even spread this aura to the surroundings, to a degree very similar to those of the Tianshu realm powerhouses controlled by Huang Shu. You don't need to think about it to know that this must be the role of the charm seed. This advanced charm seed can easily control the powerful people in the Tianshu realm. Then Huang Shu can control the emperors and Tianshu realm experts of the Wangji immortal dynasty. Does he also have similar abilities? Chen Lan's succubus physique has no effect on the Son of Destiny. Chen Lan just looked at Chu Jun. Chu Jun didn't have the aura of the strong men of the Wangji immortal dynasty. This proves that Huang Shu's ability cannot affect destiny, the son of. Is this really a coincidence? Or Huang Shu actually has the same powerful ability as Chen Lan? What makes Chen Lan even more frightened is that Huang Shu also has a system, so he is not the only one who cheats, and the outcome is really unknown. The host's current strength is too low and he is not qualified to know many things. Chen Lan was full of expectations, but the system did not give any reply. The last time the system said this was when he asked Chen Feng about his strength. I'm already at the Tianshu realm, and I'm only one big realm away from the Great Emperor realm. I'm still not qualified. How did the host break through to the Tianshu realm? Don't you have any idea? This novel has just started, how can it possibly allow you to reach the level of a top expert? The realm of the Great Emperor is just the beginning. When the host has enough strength to transcend the mysterious spirit world, he can barely know a part of the truth. Quote. Chen Lan had no idea what the system was saying, but she could hear clearly that the realm of the Great Emperor was just the beginning. He thought he had just traveled through time for less than a year and was about to reach the pinnacle of his life, but everything turned out not to be that simple. Then you should at least tell me, does Huang Shu have a succubus physique like me, or something similar? Even if he doesn't know the whole truth of the matter, he should still know about the trouble at hand. Don't worry, host. After the succubus physique has advanced to the final stage, it will be an absolutely top-notch physique. It is not comparable to the celestial body or celestial demon body that the host mentioned before. As for Huang Shu, the big boss of the host village novice village, he is just like those controlled by her, just contaminated with that aura. Rootless ping, the host doesn't have to worry at all. After hearing what the system said, Chen Lan felt relieved. In the eyes of the system, Dongzhou is just a novice village, so Huang Shu should not be able to threaten him. After confirming this, Chen Lan stopped asking questions and just closed his eyes to adjust his mentality. Not long ago, he felt that those controlled by Huang Shu's evil magic were like puppets and had no thoughts of their own. The next moment, he knew that his evil spell was even more powerful, and everyone around him had fallen victim to it without knowing it. Meng Hong was fine before, but Ji Wan'er and Ji Chaoer now are not much better than the puppets. I didn't expect this charmer to be so evil. People who are successfully controlled by the charm species will become self-aware puppets. When Chen Lan thinks about this, she feels excited and inexplicably sad. Such a sorcery, it seems that it will be used more often in the future. The system that originally wanted to say something to persuade him immediately put itself into silent mode. It actually thought that Chen Lan just felt uneasy about his conscience. But the truth is, Chen Lan has no conscience. Put aside your personal qualities and enjoy a life of immorality. After figuring everything out, Chen Lan once again stepped out of the hall with great pride. Outside the main hall, Ji Wan'er and her sisters have been guarding the door. They were frightened by Chen Lan's previous performance and were afraid that something would happen to Chen Lan. Seeing Chen Lan appear at this time, regardless of the way Chen Lan looked at the two of them before, he flew forward and asked about the situation. Chen Lan had just figured everything out and was looking for a place to vent her great mood. Seeing the two girls flying forward, Chen Lan hugged one of them without saying a word. Without waiting for them to open their mouths, Chen Lan turned around and returned to the main hall. Boom! The door of the main hall was closed again. The jade exposed neck, the pretty red dress, the fragrant spring breeze on both sleeves. Dot the apricot pen, break the tassels, soak the jade in the cold night. 10,000 words are omitted here. 10 days later, that same night, Chen Lan and the others walked out of the hall with their faces glowing red. Flying to the sky above Liuyang City, Zhao Yan and Jizan noticed Chen Lan's appearance and rushed over immediately. Emperor! Chen Lan raised her hand to signal the two of them to excuse themselves, and then stopped being sloppy. Call someone, let's go do something big while the night is dark. Looking at Chen Lan acting like a big brother in society, Zhao Yan and the other two thought that Chen Lan was going to attack the city at night, so they immediately gathered everyone. After a while, the entire Liuyang city's 200,000 troops and all the Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfang immortal dynasty except Sun Hao were assembled. Chen Lan looked at the assembled troops and was a little confused. In fact, he just wanted to call the Tianshu realm experts. These soldiers who are not even familiar with the wind god formation, let alone only 200,000, even if there are 1 million, will not play much role in the battle between the Tianshu realm powerhouses. As the emperor of the Qinfang immortal dynasty, there was no need for him to let so many people die. All soldiers go to the various formations of the city defense formation to increase the power of the formation. Those who are strong in the Tianshu realm will follow me. Chen Yang was stunned when he heard this. These ordinary soldiers had always been dispatched by him. When Chen Lan suddenly gathered, he thought they were going to attack Yan'an Pass. The result turned out to be that they were asked to strengthen the city defense formation. Could it be that Chen Lan was worried that the Wangji immortal dynasty would attack Liuyang City at night? Brother, are you worried about a night attack by Wangjixian dynasty? Chen Lan was already preparing to take the people away. After hearing Chen Yang's words, she was not embarrassed at all and explained without blushing or heartbeat. No, I want to go out to fight. They are of no use, but they are here, and they have to do something. After finishing his words, the mysterious lines of the great teleportation formation flickered, and in an instant, Chen Yang was left alone in the chaos of Liuyang City. At the same time, in the sky above Kyoto in the Emperor's immortal dynasty, a huge magic circle's spiritual power lit up, and more than 30 Tianshu realm experts appeared out of thin air. The powerful pressure suppressed the entire Kyoto. The reason why Chen Lan came here was because he knew that Huang Shu was not just an ordinary boss of Novice Village, but also a son of destiny. The setting where the Son of Destiny breaks through on the battlefield and becomes unbeatable is really too perverted. The reason why Chu Jun was so desperate to hold him back was because Huang Shu's breakthrough in cultivation had reached the most critical moment. The stupidest people would confront Lord Chu at the border. If the Xuanwu formation had not been blocking Chen Lan before, he might have crossed Liuyang City directly and rushed to Wangjixian Dynasty Kyoto. Because the best way is to make Huang Shu suffer backlash. Even if it can't cause her any damage, it can at least not allow her to successfully break through before the decisive battle with peace of mind. With the rune stones given by Chen Feng, Chen Lan at least doesn't have to worry about his own safety. Set up the formation. After arriving at Wangjixian Dynasty Kyoto, Chen Lan immediately ordered everyone to form a formation. Most of the Tianshu realm experts in the Chenfeng Immortal Dynasty have experienced in the Wind God Guards, so they are no strangers to the Wind God formation. The Wind God formation passed down by Chen Feng is not an ordinary formation. Although it cannot guard a place like the Xuanwu formation, it can still be done by gathering the strength of everyone. Huang Shu, Chen Lan is here to visit, please show up to see me. After the formation of the Wind God was formed, Chen Lan took control of the Wind God's phantom, and the huge sound spread throughout the entire Kyoto city, especially the palace, and echoed several times. But Chen Lan's voice fell, but there was no response. The huge figure and voice did not play any role except for causing Wangjixian to panic the people in Kyoto. Chen Lan was a little happy to see this. If Huang Shu couldn't even show up when he appeared in such a high profile, does that mean that her breakthrough was really at a critical moment? Jia. Thinking of this, Chen Lan laughed gently twice, then stepped forward and crossed directly to the imperial palace of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty. Because they arrived suddenly, Wangjixian's defensive formation towards Kyoto was not activated, so Chen Lan entered the palace with almost no effort. A hurricane blew past, and the gate of the imperial palace opened. Chen Lan compressed the Fengshan phantom to a size that could enter the imperial palace, and stepped into the imperial palace. The layout of the imperial palace of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty was not much different from that of the Chen Fengxian Dynasty. Chen Lan walked into the retreat room in a familiar manner, but there was no one inside. Immediately afterwards, Chen Lan walked into the main hall. The main hall was still empty, but there was a huge red cloth with 2 lines of words written on it. We sincerely welcome Emperor Chenfeng. I apologize for the poor hospitality. Chen Lan's pupils shrank. Ever since he entered the imperial palace and the system still didn't prompt that the Son of Destiny had been detected, he had already sensed that something was wrong. This Huang Shu was really smart. Even though he patted Chu Jun and more than 30 Tianshu realm experts to go to the border to delay, he was still worried. He left Kyoto and found another place to continue his breakthrough. After searching many times with the space domain and confirming that there was really no place to hide around, Chen Lan reluctantly returned to the air. Huang Shu left Kyoto, and trying to find her again was like looking for a needle in a haystack. In this case, he had no choice but to capture Yan'an Pass first. Kill as many Tianshu realm experts from the Wangji Immortal Dynasty as possible to eliminate the effective forces and prepare for the decisive battle in the future. Chen Lan's confidence comes from the system and Chen Feng. You must know that in the eyes of the system, Chen Feng is a person who needs to be wary and hidden. And Huang Shu is just the boss of the novice village, so Chen Lan feels that Huang Shu will most likely not be able to defeat Chen Feng. Besides, there is no other way now but to do this first. In front of Yan'an Pass, the phantom of the Wind God appeared instantly, and the terrifying power that was infinitely close to the early stage of the Great Emperor suddenly erupted, and the entire pass was shaken. In Yan'an Pass, Chu Jun now looked like a middle-aged man. His previous dejection was gone, and he now had a feeling of high spirits. The most important thing is that Chu Jun's cultivation strength is actually on par with Fengshan Ziying. Chu Jun, are you eating pig feed? He's growing so fast. Facing the Chu Jun in front of him, Chen Lan just wanted to scold his mother. This Chu Jun who could not be caught really caused him more trouble every time. In this short time, he turned from a useless person who could belch at any time to a powerful being comparable to the realm of the Great Emperor. Chen Lan, how is Kyoto in the Wangjixian Dynasty? Is it prosperous? Chen Lan was speechless when he heard this. He didn't expect that Chu Jun would guess his little thoughts this time. But this is not surprising. After all, He has never played his cards according to common sense. Chu Jun and Huang Shu are both smart people, so they will not be led by his nose all the time. But Chen Lan also discovered something unusual at this time. Except for Chu Jun, there was not a single strong person in the Tianshu realm left in Yan'an Pass. Looking at Chu Jun's powerful but extremely chaotic aura, a bold guess emerged in Chen Lan's mind. Mr. Chu, it's been a while since I last saw you. Where did your cultivation come from? Also, why don't those 30 Tianshu realm experts from your Wangji immortal dynasty come out to challenge us? Chu Jun didn't seem to hear Chen Lan's ridicule, but said it matter-of-factly. They have their destiny. Chen Lan smiled disdainfully. It's their destiny to be deprived of everything by you. What a ridiculous destiny. Chu Jun still didn't care. Chen Lan, don't make it sound like it has nothing to do with you. If you hadn't been pressing on every step of the way, why would we have needed to concentrate our strength in this way? Disobey the destiny of heaven, and you will be punished by heaven. Again, this sentence must be punished by God. Chen Lan is a strong man who has just put down his personal qualities. How can he take the blame? The war in Dongzhou was started by Huang Shu and you people who insist on their destiny, and now they blame me. You are really a wicked person who complained first, even if you don't have any shame. Chu Jun was not angry when he heard this, but his aura continued to increase. Destiny cannot be violated. Chen Lan, suffer death. With a sound of falling, Chu Jun rushed out of Yan'an Pass, regardless of the ordinary people in the pass, and blasted towards the Fengshan Phantom with overwhelming power. The Phantom of Fengshan was very fast, rushing straight into the sky. If two powerful men comparable to the Great Emperor were to fight on the ground, not to mention Yan'an Pass, even Liuyang City in the distance would be affected. Zanbing Long Shang. Nowadays, Chen Lan controls the Phantom of Fengshan like an arm and a finger, and there is almost no difference between fighting on his own. The momentum and power of more than 30 Tianshu realm experts are almost all superimposed together. Combined with Chen Lan's own thousand-fold spiritual sea, he is almost invincible. After the battle started, the entire borderland could see vibrations in the sky. The people below could only hear loud noises coming from time to time, accompanied by dragon roars and raging flames. The terrifying atmosphere almost made thousands of creatures in the borderland almost breathless. This battle lasted for a day and a night. After Chen Lan broke through the Tianshu realm, his spiritual power seemed to be endless. After such a long and high-intensity battle, there was no sign of exhaustion. But Chu Jun was not in such good condition. He had just devoured the power of 30 Tianshu realm experts, and he started fighting before he had time to get familiar with himself. He thought that with his current strength, it would be easy to deal with the 30-odd Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty, but he didn't expect that he would still be suppressed and beaten. Chen Lan's attacks seemed to be free of charge. Almost the entire battlefield was filled with black ice dragons carrying dragon power and pillars of fire that soared into the sky. In addition, from time to time there would be sharp knives comparable to artifacts flying around, leaving him overwhelmed. Jun Chu, are you planning to escape again? Chen Lan saw the hesitation in Chu Jun's eyes and knew that this guy was definitely planning to run away again. The most annoying thing is that if Chu Jun really wants to escape now, he really can't stop him. So he could only see if he could use provocation to trick Lord Chu into fighting him. Should you say it or not, you can't do anything with your so-called destiny, but escaping is definitely the first priority. I have never seen anyone run away so smoothly. Even the Emperor can't stop him. Come to think of it, this must be your fourth time running away. It's just that I remember that every time you ran away, your ending seemed not to be very good. Last time I saw you, you looked like you were almost dead. Isn't it because your destiny protects you from escaping and you have to pay the price? Chu Jun didn't look very good when he heard this, but he didn't hesitate. Chen Lan, stop being so pretentious here. God is the only one in the world. Since you want something, you must give something. Because of this, even if you end up occupying Dongzhou that doesn't belong to you, you will eventually pay the price. Although he refused to give up, Chu Jun still did not escape immediately. There is no other reason, it is precisely because Chen Lan's words just reminded him of the price. Every time he escapes with the help of destiny, he loses more than just his life force. Every time his life force was sucked out by the heavenly Tao, Chu Jun would be tortured by cramps and bone peeling, and that feeling was not pleasant. Although he is still at a disadvantage now, he has delayed Chen Lan for a long time. He does not believe that Chen Lan will not be tired at all. Chen Lan was really not tired at all. Under the powerful spiritual power, not only did Chen Lan not feel tired, but he became more and more energetic. Time passed, and the two continued to fight for another hour. Chu Jun felt more and more tired, and most of the spiritual energy in his body was consumed, and he was already a little weak. Of course Chen Lan also discovered this. It would be easier to handle when Chu Jun is tired. When a person is really tired, even the smartest brain will become dull. Afterwards, Chen Lan suddenly accelerated the frequency of his attacks, but his power was much weaker than before, and even the phantom of the wind god became much more illusory. Seeing this situation, Chu Jun, who was a little tired, suddenly brightened up. Chen Lan's performance made him feel that Chen Lan didn't have much spiritual power left, but she still couldn't defeat him, and now he was furious. Just when he was excited, Chen Lan's spiritual power happened to vibrate, revealing a flaw. When Chu Jun saw this, he was like a dog seeing a bone, his eyes turned red, and he almost used up all his remaining strength to attack Chen Lan. The next moment, Chen Lan disappeared on the spot, in the space field, and his transmission speed was not weaker than the real emperor. At the same time, 8 sharp knives reached Chu Jun's back almost simultaneously, and were about to dig out Chu Jun's heart. Emperor Chen Feng, I have heard of your name for a long time. An indifferent but majestic female voice sounded in Chen Lan's ears, and 8 sharp knives fell down. As soon as he heard this voice, Chen Lan knew who it was. Turning around and looking, Huang Shu was wearing imperial robes and smiling. There were 2 people standing behind him on the left and right, and they all exuded the powerful aura of the great emperor. Obviously, these 2 people are the Bingu emperor and the Wangji emperor. If you look carefully at Huang Shu's face, you will see that she is indeed the most beautiful person in the world. If her eyebrows were not filled with a look that was not only majestic but also sad, Huang Shu would definitely be the most beautiful person Chen Lan has ever seen. No wonder Huang Chen did something like that to her back then. If she met such a stunning beauty when she was weak, few people would be able to hold back their desire to possess her. It's just that Huang Chen's approach is a bit inferior. As a prince of an ancient immortal dynasty, he should have many other means to possess Huang Shu. But he chose the most brainless and retarded one. Maybe it was really just destiny's punishment for Huang Shu. The Emperor Wangji is truly famous in Dongzhou. He has reached the realm of the great emperor at a young age. I'm afraid my cultivation has improved even more since I left seclusion this time. When Chen Lan was observing Huang Shu was also looking at Chen Lan. Although she could not be affected by Chen Lan's succubus physique, she still couldn't help but linger on Chen Lan's handsome face for a moment longer. What Yer said is indeed true. Emperor Chen Feng is indeed unique. Chen Lan was stunned when he heard this. He didn't even think of Huang Shu's son when he came this time. After all, he had left it to Chen Yang to handle it himself. Unexpectedly, this licking dog actually sent the destined grandson back. Although Chen Lan wanted to beat Chen Yang violently in her heart, she still had a kind smile on her face, as if she had suddenly realized something. You're talking about Yer. That child is indeed smart. You can see his talent at a young age. He is worthy of being the child of Emperor Wangji. I love so much. Hearing Chen Lan address Huang Yi so affectionately, Huang Shu couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Emperor Chen Feng really likes them, otherwise he wouldn't have said that those 3 must not be kept. Quote ? Quote. Chen Lan had a big question mark in her heart. Wasn't that boy Huang Yi fainted at that time? How did he know these words? Could it be that Chen Yang was addicted to being a dog licker and sold Chen Lan when he gave the child away? The situation was very embarrassing now, but Chen Lan was not the kind of person who wanted to lose face. Emperor Wangji misunderstood. I was testing my 3rd brother Chen Yang. You won't know if you don't try. You'll be surprised if you try. My 3rd brother is absolutely devoted to Emperor Wangji. I wonder if Emperor Wangji still lacks a queen. My 3rd brother can marry into his wife. Huang Shu didn't change her expression when she heard this. Based on everything Huang Yi told her over the years after returning, how could she not see Chen Yang's sincerity? But her heart was dead, and for the rest of her life, she could only care about destiny and her children. Emperor Qianfeng is joking. By letting the third prince marry into our emperor's immortal dynasty, doesn't Emperor Qianfeng intend to unify Eastern continent? Chen Lan nodded seriously. You may not believe it when I tell you. I never thought about unifying Dongzhou. It was just forced by the situation. This Dongzhou became my Qianfeng immortal dynasty inexplicably. Having said this, Chen Lan put on what he thought was the most handsome pose, looked up at the sky, and let out a long sigh. Oh, maybe, this is God's will. Huang Shu didn't pay attention to Chen Lan's posture, but was attracted by his last words. God's will. People like Emperor Qianfeng also believe in God's will. Chen Lan smiled, knowing that Huang Shu would be interested in God's will. Believe it or not, the way of heaven is impermanent. There is no good or evil, no right or wrong, no kindness or resentment, no joy or sorrow. I will believe it. If the way of heaven deceives people, then I don't believe it. After hearing this, Huang Shu fell into deep thought, but kept muttering the phrase, the laws of heaven are impermanent. Yes, God is supreme and impermanent. How could she be punished by God just because she didn't achieve hegemony? He has thought about this question countless times, and every time he thinks about it, the answer is always 9 words. Those who disobey the destiny of heaven will be punished by heaven. Chen Lan was overjoyed when he heard this, and kept emphasizing this sentence because she had doubts about it. Huang Shu's words seemed to be meant for Chen Lan, but in fact they were more like giving himself a reason to persevere. Destiny cannot be violated. Does Emperor Wangji think that destiny can be changed? Huang Shu seemed to have been attracted by Chen Lan's words and answered directly without any hesitation. Destiny cannot be violated and nature cannot be changed. Chen Lan nodded. Then I would like to ask Emperor Wangji, Xie Yu, Lin Fei, Yi Jingtian, and this Lord Chu, what is their destiny? After hearing Chen Lan's words, Huang Shu glanced at Chu Jun beside him, as if he was about to catch the tail of the truth. They should be the master of one party. He is ascending to the realm of the great emperor and overlooking all living beings. Chen Lan continued to nod. Yes, but what now? Except for Mr. Chu, everyone else is dead. Have their destiny changed? Huang Shu was stunned for a moment, then nodded dully. You killed them and disobeyed the destiny of heaven. You will be punished by heaven. Chen Lan was speechless. Do you have no words? Just this sentence over and over again. You know in your heart that from the moment I killed them, their destiny has been changed. Their destiny has been changed, so how can it be considered a violation of destiny if I kill them? In the era before Chen Lan traveled through time, everyone had some sophistry, and it was most suitable to use it here to mess with people's minds. Sure enough, after hearing Chen Lan's words, Huang Shu was shocked. Chen Lan was right. If Xie Yu and others' destiny has been changed, why can't her destiny be changed? Yi Jingtian, who was supposed to be invincible in the destiny, was also killed by Chen Lan. Can she, Huang Shu, definitely make Chen Lan suffer divine punishment? Emperor Qianfeng is indeed different. Huang Shu struggled for a long time before slowly coming back to his senses. But the matter has come to this, and the unification of Dongzhou has become the general trend. Even if you and I don't care about fate, the battle between the Qianfeng immortal dynasty and the Wangji immortal dynasty is inevitable. Seeing Huang Shu regaining consciousness, Chen Lan's expression remained unchanged. Because Huang Shu is no longer bound by destiny at this time, and the Son of Destiny will achieve his goal regardless of destiny. Emperor Wangji, do you think you will win? Huang Shu didn't hide it either. I know that Emperor Qianfeng is the strongest among the 4 emperors of Dongzhou, but after all, he is only in the realm of the emperor. I have now broken through to the late stage of the great emperor, and I have the help of Emperor Bingu and Emperor Wangji. Even if Emperor Qianfeng has monstrous means, he cannot defeat me. Chen Lan smiled profoundly. Well, since Emperor Wangji is so confident, how about we make a bet? Bet? What bet? Huang Shu really didn't understand how Chen Lan could have any confidence. Now in the Chen Feng immortal dynasty, Chen Feng was the only one with the realm of the great emperor. Even though he was very powerful, Huang Shu was still confident that even if Chen Feng was at the peak of the emperor's realm, she would still be invincible. Coupled with the help of Emperor Bingu and Emperor Wangji, Chen Feng had absolutely no chance of winning. Chen Lan didn't pay attention to Huang Shu's confusion, but explained very seriously. I bet you can beat my grandpa. If you win, not only will Dongzhou be yours, but Chen Yang will also marry into your royal family. It doesn't matter if you become the emperor or your male favorite. It doesn't matter how you play. If you lose, then don't worry about fate or not. Just marry my third brother and become the princess, and then you will be your husband and raise your children. Isn't it good? Huang Shu didn't expect Chen Lan to say such words. If Chen Yang were here, he would definitely want to give Chen Lan a kiss. He is truly my eldest brother. At this moment, I am still thinking about getting him a wife. Huang Shu was almost laughed out of anger at Chen Lan. She was a powerful person in the late stage of the great emperor, but Chen Lan dared to ask her to take care of her husband and raise her children. Emperor Chenfeng is really calm. At this time, he is still in the mood to joke. Hearing this, Chen Lan looked at Huang Shu very seriously. I'm not joking. Even if you don't care, you still have to think about your children. You can't live without a father. The lack of father's love since childhood will be very bad for the child's future growth. If you randomly find someone else to be Yer's father, I guess you won't feel at ease. My third brother has raised Yer as his own son over the years. Yer should also be able to feel his father's love from him. Don't worry, sister, as long as you marry my third brother, Yer will be my nephew. Huang Shu was told endlessly by Chen Lan, but one thing he said made sense. After Huang Yi returned to Wangji Immortal Dynasty, he indeed told her many good things about Chen Yang. If she really wants to find a father for Huang Yi, Chen Yang is definitely the best choice. Okay, I'll make this bet with you. Although he said so, Huang Shu never thought that he would lose. Unless Chen Feng is an immortal, how can she lose? As for Chen Lan's bet, she could also see that Chen Lan was afraid that she would risk her life if she lost, so she used Huang Yi to restrain her from risking her life. No matter what, as long as she agrees, no matter what the outcome is, at least Chen Lan will never hurt Huang Yi. On the other side, Chen Lan was overjoyed when she heard Huang Shu agreed. The big boss of Novice Village is indeed very dangerous. Although his reputation is not very good, he is still a good person. Brother and sister, after you get married, you can change Yer's surname to Chen. Then Chen Yi will be the first person in my generation, Chen Fengxian dynasty. I will write a family tree for you all. Huang Shu's originally calm face suddenly frowned. Chen Lan was talking about her younger siblings, and Chen Yi was talking about them, which really left her speechless. It was as if Chen Lan was sure that she would lose. When Chen Lan saw Huang Shu frowning, she thought she was unhappy because she said she wanted to change her surname to Huang Yi. If you don't want to change Yer's name, the surname Huang is actually quite good. Or my third brother can change his surname to Huang. Huang Yang sounds pretty good too. You and your family of 3 can open a single page of the genealogy and start from scratch. Chen Lan's words were really broken and nutritious. Huang Shu's state of mind, which had almost stopped making waves, was actually extremely irritable because of his few words. Enough. Beat me first, then think about these things. If Emperor Chenfeng loses, I will tear your mouth apart. Chen Lan was stunned when he heard this. Emperor Chenfeng was defeated. Why are you tearing my mouth apart? Shouldn't you be tearing Emperor Chenfeng's mouth off? But seeing that his younger siblings were getting anxious, Chen Lan didn't dare to provoke her anymore, but instead showed a kind smile. Okay, then you can hit me. As soon as these words came out, Huang Shu was extremely shocked. Beat you. With your current level of cultivation, I can crush you into powder with just one finger. Huang Shu's words are extremely confident. She has her own proud capital. Although she didn't want to compete in the world at first, but after following her destiny for so long, her current strength is at the top of the entire Xuanling world. Chen Lan didn't take it seriously. She asked Huang Shu to hit him, of course to activate the rune stones. When they first met, he thought Huang Shu would take action against him, so he immediately dispersed the wind god formation and faced Huang Shu alone with the rune stones. After Huang Shu agreed to the bet, he wanted to actively activate the rune stones, but with his Tianshu realm strength, he couldn't activate the patterns on the rune stones, so he had to let Huang Shu hit him. If you attack Chen Lan with Huang Shu's strength, the rune stones will definitely be activated. The time the rune stones blocked Huang Shu should be enough for Chen Feng to arrive. Seeing that Huang Shu was afraid of accidentally killing himself, Chen Lan was even a little amused. Where could he find this big boss? If you lose, you will be sent to your door. If you win, you will be left alive. Brother and sister, don't worry, Grandpa has left a trick on me. He will come if you hit me. Huang Shu was dubious about Chen Lan's words, but she also knew that people like Chen Lan would never joke with their own lives. Moreover, she, who had always been as calm as water, was once again angered by Chen Lan's brother and sister. Who are your siblings? I will tear your mouth apart right now. With a roar, the aura around Huang Shu exploded. This momentum alone shook the exhausted Chu Jun and the more than 30 Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty around 100 miles away. In the high sky of Yan'an Pass, only Huang Shu and the two great emperors Bingu and Wangji were left behind him, as well as Chen Lan, who was surrounded by rune stones and protected by endless light. Seeing this, Huang Shu marveled at how extraordinary Emperor Chen Feng's methods were, and also knew that what Chen Lan said was true. After confirming this, Huang Shu did not hold back. The brilliance bloomed in his hand, and he attacked Chen Lan with all his strength with the power of the late emperor. But before her attack could touch the amulet stone in front of Chen Lan, a golden light suddenly appeared. The originally terrifying imperial power disappeared instantly, and the terrifying spiritual power also subsided. Sun Sha, I gave you this rune stone to save your life, not to treat me like you are here to summon a divine beast. The person coming was none other than Chen Feng. He had already sensed the changes here when Huang Shu exploded with imperial power, so he was able to arrive before Huang Shu's real attack came. Although the rune stone can indeed block Huang Shu's attack, it is still a real treasure. Chen Lan is really too wasteful. After Chen Lan saw Chen Feng appear, her first reaction was not to observe the three great emperors opposite, but to complain about her filial behavior, so she knew that she was safe. Although Chen Feng scolded him, Chen Lan discovered that the rune stones Chen Feng had given him before were still intact. How could he not know that this was a treasure that might be used in the future, so he put the rune stones away with his backhand. Grandpa, come on. If we defeat these few in front of us, the entire Dongzhou will belong to our Qinfeng immortal dynasty. After Chen Lan put away the rune stones, he immediately changed his posture, as if he had instantly changed from a miser to an emperor guiding the country. Qinfeng rolled his eyes when he saw this, but his eyes finally turned to the three great emperors on the other side. Although Huang Shu and the others had been almost ignored by Chen Feng from just now to now, they did not feel dissatisfied at all. Because Chen Feng's attack just now was so smooth, Huang Shu's powerful blow basically dissipated in an instant. Even though she had not used all the means, several people had not seen how Chen Feng did it. Huang Shu asked herself that she did not have such means. You little girl, you are very interesting. Chen Feng glanced at the three emperors in front of him and immediately discovered the primary and secondary relationship between the three. He also noticed the abnormality of Bingu Emperor and Wangji Emperor. Being stared at by Chen Feng, Huang Shu felt as if he was being targeted by some beast, and felt a chill running down his spine. That was Chen Feng's murderous intention. Facing someone with such weird means, of course he should avoid future troubles. Chen Lan also noticed this and immediately reminded him. Grandpa, don't do it lightly, that's your grandson-in-law. Chen Feng was stunned when he heard this, and then looked at Huang Shu again. It's really good. It's easy to have a baby. How many wives are you planning to find? Are you afraid of kidney failure? Chen Lan also didn't expect Chen Feng to say such words, and rolled his eyes at that moment. I learned that from you, and I don't want to marry her, she's my third brother. Chen Feng nodded. Chen Lan had already found so many wives, and it was really time for Chen Yang to find one. Although he is not as good as Chen Lan, a great-grandson, he is still of his own blood. The third child. With his brains, if he marries this woman, he shouldn't be treated like a dog by her. Chen Lan was stunned. Emperor Chen Feng had indeed not lived in vain for so many years. This kind of thing could be seen at a glance. It's okay, your third grandson is happy to be her dog licker. And I made a bet with my sister-in-law just now. As long as you defeat the three of them, she will marry her husband and godson. Chen Feng nodded. Huang Shu on the side looked at the grandfather and grandson in front of her, discussing her with each other. This scene reminded her of some bad memories, and her anger suddenly surged in her heart, and her aura rose again. Chen Feng also discovered this, and immediately sent Chen Lan to a safe distance, turned around and attacked the three of them. In Dongzhou, Emperor Qianfeng's time to become the Great Emperor was the shortest among the four great emperors, but Emperor Qianfeng was the most unfathomable. He was born hundreds of years ago, overwhelming all the heroes at once, and achieved the realm of the Great Emperor in only 30 years, which was more than 10 times faster than the other three great emperors. Hundreds of years have passed, and Emperor Qianfeng rarely takes action, but when he does, he has never been defeated. Although he is only slightly better than his opponent every time, no matter who comes, he can always be stronger. It was rumored that there were powerful emperors in Central Continent who intended to invade the East Continent. The two emperors wanted to land from the territory of Qianfeng Immortal Dynasty. However, before they could land, they were forced back by Emperor Qianfeng, 1-2. Since then, no one from the other four continents has dared to invade East Continent. Now, facing the cooperation between Huang Shu, Bingu and Huang Ji, Chen Feng still looked that relaxed. No matter how the opponent attacks, Chen Feng's strength can always fight back with 1 point stronger strength. Emperor Chen Feng, with 1-3, can still come out strong. So far, no one knows where Chen Feng's limit is. Although the powerful emperor has extremely powerful spiritual and soul power, every attack consumes a huge amount of spiritual power and soul power. Therefore, the powerful emperor will also get tired. Huang Shu also knew in his heart that this battle could not be delayed. If the masters competed, the outcome could be decided by a single thought. Just like Chen Lan and Chu Jun before, after fatigue, flaws will always be revealed. Thinking of this, Huang Shu's palm flashed with light, and the next moment, a simple flying sword appeared in his hand. Broken Yuan Sword Qi. The Po Yuan sword is the only artifact of the Wangji Immortal Dynasty. Unlike the Qing Xin Bell, the Po Yuan sword is a real offensive artifact, and its effect in battle is many times greater than that of the Qing Xin Bell. The terrifying sword energy stirred up, and Huang Shu's aura continued to rise. Chen Lan in the distance could see that the spiritual energy around Huang Shu rushed into the sky. At this time, every sword energy of Huang Shu was several times stronger than the previous attack. On the other hand, Chen Feng, no matter how you attack, his face remains normal. The fingers in his hand were frequently used, and the strong wind roared out, always suppressing Huang Shu. The battle between the four great emperors was thousands of miles away from the ground, but violent vibrations could still be felt above the ground. Directly below, at Yan'an Pass, not only ordinary houses but also city walls had collapsed. Fortunately, when Chen Lan and others were fighting before, the residents and troops of Yan'an Pass had already evacuated. Otherwise, the nearly 10 million people would have been in trouble. High in the sky, the battle between the four great emperors continued. Huang Shu's power became stronger and stronger. Chen Feng still looked calm as if he had everything under control, but Chen Lan in the distance became frowning. After Chen Lan was sent to a safe area by Chen Feng, he kept using the eyes of deception to observe the situation on the battlefield. But under his observation, Chen Lan discovered that the sad aura in Huang Shu's body was constantly increasing. Huang Shu is like a gas tank that is being inflated at this time. Once the gas increases to a certain level and explodes, no one can guess what the result will be. Chen Lan thought of what the previous system said, saying that Huang Shu was just a person being controlled, which meant that she couldn't control it either. Grandpa, something is wrong. Can you capture her as soon as possible? Things that cannot be controlled should be destroyed as much as possible, otherwise they may become disasters. Chen Lan just wants to get rid of Huang Shu's aura as soon as possible, otherwise, he will have to bear the pain to get rid of Huang Shu. When Chen Feng heard Chen Lan's words, he began to take it seriously. After getting serious, he discovered that Huang Shu had already unleashed all his strength before, and now his strength is still rising. This seemed like breaking through the limits again and again, but Chen Feng knew that this was impossible. There must be something affecting Huang Shu that he couldn't see clearly. I try my best. Thinking of this, Chen Feng no longer used delaying tactics, and powerful force surged in 3 directions. In just an instant, Emperor Bingu and Emperor Huangdi were locked tightly by Chen Feng. With one move, just a light move, Chen Feng pinned the two powerful emperors to the spot. That is to say, the same move did not have the same effect after hitting Huang Shu. The moment Chen Feng's spiritual power came into contact with Huang Shu, the strange aura in Huang Shu's body seemed to sense danger. The extremely sad atmosphere has almost condensed into substance. At this moment, everyone in Dongzhou can feel the indelible sadness from deep in their hearts, which is heartbreaking. Chen Lan was the person closest to Huang Shu besides the four great emperors. Even though he had a succubus body to protect him, he was still affected by that aura. Under his delusion eyes, although the aura affected a wide range, its core was still on Huang Shu. More importantly, Chen Lan discovered that Huang Shu's eyes had lost their original bright luster. Instead, it was the endless sadness and sorrow. Sadness is one of the 7 human emotions. It is not surprising that this kind of emotion appears, but as Huang Shu is now, pure sadness without any unnecessary emotions has never been seen before. Huang Shu is indeed under control. Chen Lan looked at the scene in front of him and further confirmed what the system had said before. Although Huang Shu has always been dominated by her own consciousness and purposefully controls others, that aura does not belong to her, or even to the Son of Destiny. The way of heaven is impermanent, and the method of controlling people with emotion should not be the way of heaven in any case. But if it wasn't the work of heaven, then where did this emotional power that could even affect the Son of Destiny come from? Chen Lan fell into deep thought, but Huang Shu had no intention of waiting for him. After another outbreak, Huang Shu's realm has surpassed the peak of the Great Emperor realm. In the moment just now, even Chen Feng was affected. Although it was only a few short breaths, it was enough for Huang Shu to do something. Taking advantage of this gap, Huang Shu did not make a sneak attack, but inserted his hands into the chests of Bingu Emperor and Huangji Emperor. As the strange light of the formation circulated on the three of them, the spiritual power of Emperor Bingu and Emperor Huangji, along with their own flesh and blood, instantly turned into blood mist and poured into Huang Shu's body. This change is very similar to the previous Chu Jun. Chu Jun should have used this method to devour more than 30 Tianshu realm experts from the Huangji immortal dynasty before he could reach the strength that surpassed the Tianshu realm just now. 2 streams of blood mist poured into Huang Shu's body, and her realm increased again. Chen Lan always knew that there must be a higher realm above the Great Emperor, but he couldn't reach it. This guy in the system is very strict with his words. In the final analysis, he still has to explore on his own. Grandpa, can you bear it? At this moment, Chen Lan finally started to worry about her cheap grandfather. In his opinion, no matter how good Chen Feng is, he is only at the top of the Xuanling world, and Huang Shu should have surpassed the limit of the Xuanling world now. When Chen Feng heard Chen Lan's concern, he hesitated, but soon regained his composure and said with disdain, "I'm just a dabbler in a fairyland. Today I'm going to show you how awesome your grandpa and I are." As he spoke, Chen Feng's body exuded a mysterious and pure power. Every ounce of power in his body seemed to contain a huge amount of spiritual power. As Chen Feng's momentum surged, the space around him began to collapse. This was not because Chen Feng wanted to take action himself, but because the space in the Xuanling realm seemed unable to support such a powerful burst of spiritual power. If Chen Feng cannot suppress this momentum around him, he can easily push the entire Dongzhou into space turbulence. Chen Lan was not too surprised about Chen Feng's hidden strength. After all, both the system and his father had already vaccinated him overtly and covertly. What really concerned him was the next step to the realm of the Great Emperor as mentioned by Chen Feng. Human paradise. That's not a problem. According to conventional rules, there should be a high-end plane such as the immortal realm above the Xuanling realm. And his grandfather Chen Feng must be from that plane. Seeing that Chen Feng's momentum surpassed his own again, Huang Shu's expression did not change at all, but he had secretly mobilized the power of space and was ready to escape at any time. Want to run? Chen Feng's eyes were filled with golden light, as if nothing in the world could escape his eyes. When Huang Shu saw that his little thoughts were exposed, he no longer covered it up and frantically tried to open the space channel and escape. The Xuanling world is so big. As long as he flees to the other 4 continents and hides, it will not be that easy for Chen Feng to find her. But how could Chen Feng let her get her wish? With a flip of his hand, a stream of pure immortal power bound Huang Shu tightly. Not only could the bound Huang Shu no longer be able to mobilize the spiritual power in his body, he could not even move a finger. After restraining Huang Shu, Chen Feng did not stop. He clasped Huang Shu's head with his other hand, and a terrifying suction force erupted from his palm. In the next moment, 2 streaks of blood mist that had not had time to merge with Huang Shu were forcefully pulled out. Go! With a soft drink, 2 streams of blood mist turned into 2 streams of pure Imperial Realm aura. One poured into Chen Lan's body, and the other flew to Chen Fengxian towards Kyoto, presumably to help Chen Jing break through to the Emperor realm. Chen Lan felt the huge power pouring into his limbs and bones, and immediately absorbed it with all his strength. After Chen Feng refined this power, it no longer had the messy and dirty feeling it had originally. The pure power raised Chen Lan's cultivation to the middle stage of Tianshu realm almost instantly. With a little stabilization, Chen Lan finally broke through a small realm without relying on the system for the first time. The bad news is that this is still not something he cultivated himself. How is she going to handle it? Seeing Chen Lan quickly absorbing the pure power, Chen Feng looked at his great-grandson with satisfaction. However, Huang Shu, who had been separated from the power of Bingu Emperor and Wangji Emperor, was still a strong person at the peak of the Great Emperor realm. How to deal with her was still a problem. Tongzi, is there any way to clear that smell? What can Chen Lan do? He doesn't even know what that aura is. Charm seed, can the host plant a charm seed for her? What? When Chen Lan heard this, his eyes suddenly lit up red, and the charm was brewing in his eyes. Tongzi, you have mistaken the person, that is my brother and sister. How could I plant a charm on her? Host, I advise you not to think too much. Although the power of the charm species and that power have the same origin, they are incompatible with each other. This trick may not work for others, but Huang Shu is different. As a child of destiny, she is protected by heaven, and she has also been tempered and has a firm mind. Perhaps it is possible to suppress the erosion of that power. Maybe, it's possible. No, Tongzi, are you capable or not? But no matter how Chen Lan asked, the system never responded. After Chen Lan called the system several times and saw that it didn't respond, she stopped asking. But when he looked up, he suddenly found Chen Feng staring at him with a very curious look. Grandpa, what's wrong? Chen Lan was really panicking at this time. He suddenly remembered that the system seemed to have said before that Chen Feng might discover its existence. At this time, he had just finished communicating with the system, and when he met Chen Feng's eyes like this, he really couldn't feel at ease. Nothing. Chen Feng continued to look at Chen Lan before slowly looking away. If it weren't for the fact that there are no traces of trauma in your soul, I would have doubted whether you were taken away by some old thing. But now it seems that you have got an incredible opportunity. Chen Feng's words almost told Chen Lan that he had indeed discovered a problem, but that was Chen Lan's own opportunity, and Chen Feng would not interfere. Chen Lan breathed a sigh of relief, although Chen Feng didn't tell him what he saw. But since Chen Feng said that the system is a great opportunity, it at least shows that the power of the system is also very precious in Chen Feng's eyes. Grandpa, I'll deal with her first. Since Chen Feng didn't ask any more questions, Chen Lan naturally didn't take the initiative to say anything more and came directly to the bound Huang Shu. At this time, Huang Shu couldn't move any part of his body, and naturally he couldn't speak. And even if she could speak at this time, she probably wouldn't say anything, because Huang Shu's eyes were still so lifeless, and they had not returned to normal due to the isolation of spiritual power by Chen Feng. Arriving in front of Huang Shu, Chen Lan's eyes flashed red and she looked straight into Huang Shu's sad eyes. Charm. Chen Lan's succubus physique was brought into full play, and so far, the strongest succubus seed poured directly into Huang Shu's body. Boom. As the charm entered Huang Shu's body, a crisp cracking sound sounded in Chen Lan's mind. That was the sound of the charm seed breaking just now. Chen Lan has never used it on a child of destiny since he obtained the succubus physique, and there has never been a case where the charm seed was broken in an instant. Tongzi is really clueless. No matter, try a few more times. Under Chen Feng's attention, Chen Lan injected the charm seed into Huang Shu's body 18 times in a row, each time lasting longer than the last time. Finally, on the 19th time, the charm seed successfully entered Huang Shu's body and took root. Just like the breath, it continuously exuded the breath unique to Chen Lan's succubus physique. The result was indeed as the system said. The two forces in Huang Shu's body were incompatible with each other. After a battle, a strange balance was formed. Due to the confrontation between the two mysterious forces, Huang Shu's control was greatly reduced, and her sanity returned again. Seeing that clarity returned to her eyes, Chen Lan looked at Chen Feng aside with satisfaction. Chen Feng understood and let go of Huang Shu's restraints. Huang Shu regained his freedom, feeling the changes in his body with a complicated expression. As a powerful emperor, even though she had temporarily lost control of her body just now, she was very aware of everything that happened during this period. Of course she knew the existence of that aura, but before, she had always regarded it as the power given to her by destiny. Help her control others, but also restrain her. But she never thought that that power would directly control her body, let alone that Chen Lan could give her similar power. Could it be that Chen Lan was really destiny itself? Thanks. Huang Shu thought for a long time and really didn't know what to say, so he had to thank Chen Lan sincerely. Chen Lan didn't talk nonsense and nodded with a smile. Brothers and sisters, you're welcome. We're all one family. I don't know if it's because of the influence of the charmed species or what. Since accepting the setting that Chen Lan is destiny, Huang Shu's attitude towards Chen Lan has become much more submissive. There is no objection to him calling her brother and sister, and he has no intention of breaking the previous bet. When Chen Feng saw that Huang Shu, who had been arrogant just now, suddenly became so docile, he couldn't help but look at Chen Lan a few more times. The chaos in Dongzhou has been resolved. What happens next is up to you. Chen Feng seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but sigh. Chen Lan naturally heard the key point of Chen Feng's words. From now on, she will have to rely on herself. What's wrong? Is the old man really going to die? Grandpa, you. Before Chen Lan could say the words that were destined to be beaten, Chen Feng interrupted him. He motioned Chen Lan to see clearly the space around him that was constantly collapsing and reorganizing. This time I have crossed the threshold of the Great Emperor realm. It is impossible to suppress me again. The Xuanling realm cannot bear my power, so I can only ascend. Chen Lan nodded. He also discovered this. The destruction and reorganization of space also requires the power of the mysterious spirit world. With the speed at which the space around Chen Feng is collapsing and reorganizing, this consumption will be extremely huge. This is why after a breakthrough in cultivation, a strong person needs to ascend to a higher level. In addition, when a person breaks through the limits of this world, heaven will begin to reject him. This is also an act of self-preservation in the world. But Chen Feng didn't seem to care about Tiandao's rejection. He simply didn't want to destroy the Xuanling world. What will the world be like after ascension? After thinking everything through, Chen Lan curiously asked Chen Feng. He is quite curious about the more advanced world. Chen Feng thought for a moment after hearing this, and then fell into memories. Heaven is boundless, beautiful yet dangerous, gorgeous yet cruel. Chen Lan nodded. No matter where, this description should apply. Where there are people, there will be good and evil. It seems that heaven is not a pure land, and not all immortals do good deeds and accumulate virtue. You were originally from heaven, right? Chen Feng continued to nod. Yes. It's useless to tell you the details now. You'll know it when you get to heaven. Good guy, another riddler. Chen Lan nodded. Then how can I find you after I arrive in heaven? After hearing Chen Lan's question, Chen Feng thought for a moment and said. When you get to heaven, you will naturally know. Chen Lan was completely speechless, and resentment continued to accumulate in her heart. Okay, then do you have any last wishes to confess? Chen Feng's originally smiling face suddenly fell down. He indeed had something to explain, but he didn't expect Chen Lan to ask him in this way. He had just recovered his cultivation, and he couldn't control his power very well, so he couldn't beat his grandson again. Otherwise, if he is not careful, his eldest grandson will never be able to ascend to heaven. Robinson's son, listen, there are two things you need to pay attention to after I leave. Chen Lan didn't do anything stupid again after hearing this. What Chen Feng wanted to explain must be very important. First, Dongzhou's strength has been greatly reduced. There is only one powerful emperor left in this continent. The other 4 continents will definitely not sit idly by. The strength of each of their continents is not weaker than that of Dongzhou. Once I ascend and leave, the land of Dongzhou will be a piece of fat in their eyes. Chen Lan remembered that there were rumors that powerful emperors from other 4 continents crossed the border 100 years ago, but they were eventually repelled by Chen Feng. Now that Chen Feng is leaving, Dongzhou's deterrent effect on them will naturally be gone. Grandfather. Chen Feng was called by Chen Lan and immediately stopped what he had not finished speaking. Can you kill all the emperors from the other 4 continents before you leave? Chen Lan's idea is very simple. Now it is easy for Chen Feng to kill an emperor, so why not eliminate this hidden danger directly? Chen Feng was stunned by Chen Lan's words. No, does this kid really have no shame at all? You are shameless and I still want it. I will ascend directly. The only people who come to attack you are some ambitious forces from the 4 continents. If I kill all those great emperors now, as soon as I leave, all the forces in the 4 continents will unite to attack Dongzhou. Chen Lan was so reprimanded by Chen Feng that she didn't dare to speak loudly anymore, but she still whispered in a low voice. Then kill all the people in the Tianshu realm. Am I afraid of the rest? Naturally, these words couldn't escape Chen Lan's ears. My dear grandson, even the master of the demon sect must be less ruthless than you. You are so shameless, there is no one like you in heaven. Chen Feng was so angry at Chen Lan's words that he killed all the emperors in Tianshu realm of the other 4 continents. Although he could do it, what was the difference between this and massacre of the Xuanling realm? He, Chen Feng, still wanted to show some face. If you don't kill, you can handle it yourself. Chen Lan saw that Chen Feng really didn't want to care anymore, so she decided to take a different approach. No, Grandpa, even if Grandma is no longer in Dongzhou, there are still so many of your old friends in Dongzhou. You can't put them in danger even if you don't care about me. You can ignore me, but you can't ignore your concubines. Chen Feng smiled disdainfully upon hearing this. How can I, the great Emperor Chen Feng, be manipulated by your grandson? What an old friend. Don't talk nonsense, I will sue you for slander. It just so happens that you also mentioned your grandma. This is the second thing I want to tell you. Your grandma will return to heaven with me. After your affairs are settled, go to Central Continent as soon as possible to bring your mother back. Otherwise, once a war breaks out in the future, she will not be safe in Central Continent. Chen Feng was not affected by Chen Lan's words at all, but Chen Lan's eyes lit up when he heard the words. Go back to heaven together. Grandpa, can you take people back to heaven with you? Then you can take me with you. Our family should be neat and tidy. And my father, my mother, my 3rd brother, my 6th sister. There's Qingqing, Honghong, and Xiaoyun. Chen Lan counted people on her fingers, almost wanting to move the entire Kyoto of Chen Fengxian dynasty to the heaven. Chen Feng's face became more and more ugly, and finally he couldn't bear it anymore. Stop, stop, stop. Do you think ascension is just a trip, where you can take whomever you want? I still have very important things to do in the heaven. The danger is no less than yours in the lower world. I can only take your grandma with me at most. Chen Lan was not dissatisfied at being rejected, because his attention was on Chen Feng's last words. What, is there danger in heaven? Then I'd better not go. I can still cope with the dangers in the mysterious spiritual world, but in the heavenly world I can only be at the mercy of others. Grandpa, have a good journey, I will miss you. Chen Lan's smooth set of farewell combos immediately put Chen Feng out of control. After a while, Chen Feng restrained the urge to beat this unfilial grandson to pieces. The last sentence, the power in that girl is very strange. I can feel that its source seems to be in the mysterious spirit world. Grandpa is gone, take care of yourself. After Chen Feng said this, he disappeared instantly without any movement. Goodbye. Chen Feng left, and Chen Lan felt a little empty in his heart, but his biggest supporter had also left, and he would have to rely on himself next. And his dad, and his siblings. Speaking of his younger siblings, Chen Lan turned around and looked at Huang Shu, who had been silent. Now that Chen Feng had left, Huang Shu's attitude became extremely important. To put it simply, if Huang Shu suddenly repented at this time, then the one that unified Dongzhou would not be the Chenfeng immortal dynasty, but the Wangji immortal dynasty. It's just that Chen Feng still underestimated the power of the upgraded charm, even if Huang Shu didn't obey him like the two sisters Ji Wan'er did. But Huang Shu's trust and intimacy towards Chen Lan far exceed that of anyone else. Feeling Chen Lan's gaze, Huang Shu immediately guessed what he meant. Emperor, please rest assured, I am willing to admit defeat. And now I think you are right. Yer does need a father, and Chen Yang is indeed a good choice. Chen Lan nodded seriously, and then returned to Liuyang City with Huang Shu. In Liuyang City, the Tianshu realm experts from the Qinfeng immortal dynasty were ordered to return here and wait since Emperor Qinfeng appeared. Seeing Chen Lan and Huang Shu, the powerful emperor of the Wangji immortal dynasty, appear together, they were all shocked. They looked at Huang Shu warily, fearing that Huang Shu had already defeated Chen Feng and was now kidnapping Chen Lan to make them surrender. Chen Yang saw that everyone was facing a formidable enemy, and his eyes were filled with confusion. Ask, my brother and the goddess are fighting, who should I help? Waiting online, quite urgent. But what Chen Lan said next made everyone's jaws drop. Feng Chen Yang is the king of Wangji, Huang Shu is the princess of Wangji, and Chen Yi is the crown prince of Wangji. I order you to recover the territory of the Wangji immortal dynasty within 1 month. 1 month later, in Kyoto. Celebrate together and unify Dongzhou. What the hell? No one heard what Chen Lan said about the unification of Dongzhou, because they were all stunned by the previous sentence. If this battle is won, the unification of Dongzhou is certain, so this matter is not outrageous. Chen Yang is your biological brother, Emperor Qinfeng, so there is no problem in making him a king. But isn't this princess too outrageous? She is the emperor of the great emperor, how can she become a princess if she is a powerful emperor? And when did Chen Yi and Chen Yang have a child? The princess and the prince were crowned together. The child's mother couldn't be Huang Shu. For a moment, everyone was thinking a lot, and there was only a blur in their minds. Among these people, the most confused one is Chen Yang. He remembered that Chen Lan had said that he wanted to snatch Huang Shu and make him his princess, but this was so outrageous that he had always regarded it as a joke and never expected it to come true. No, brother, are you serious? Okay, it's over now. All the powerful ones in the Tianshu realm will be given 1 million top-quality spiritual stones, and they will all go to their respective places. Chen Lan did not give others time to react and directly announced that the matter was over. 1 million top-quality spiritual stones is a considerable number even for a strong person in the Tianshu realm. Chen Lan brought plenty of spiritual stones when he went out this time. As a leader, how could everyone return empty-handed after following him for so long? Regarding Chen Feng's ascension, he had no intention of telling him. The longer this matter was kept hidden, the better. It would be best if no one from the other 4 continents dared to come to Dongzhou. After leaving the follow-up matters to Huang Shu and Chen Yang, Chen Lan also walked into the Kowloon Agarwood chariot and headed home. In the Kowloon Agarwood chariot, Xie Qingqing, Meng Hong, and Yi Qing were among them. They could usually practice in the Jade Pendant space and were carried by Chen Lan. After Chen Lan finished his work, she would accompany him to go sightseeing and do some of his favorite things. This time, Ji Wan'er and Ji Chaoer, twin sisters from the Tianshu realm, are added here. New play elements are added, doubling the happiness. Moreover, the 2 sisters look like they are in their early 30s, and have a more unique charm than the other 3 girls, including Xie Qingqing. Chen Lan entered the Kowloon Agarwood chariot, and the pictures in his mind flashed crazily, but before he could take action, the system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully interrupting the great cause of Huang Shu, the god-level son of destiny, to unify Dongzhou. Reward Space Law Fragment 1. The scope of the space domain is increased, and the host's understanding of the space law is enhanced. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully unifying Dongzhou. All the luck of Dongzhou belongs to the host. Additional reward. Space Law Fragment 1. Congratulations to the host for successfully comprehending the complete laws of space. From now on, all directions are under control. As soon as these words came out, Chen Lan was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that the dog system would change its gender, and this time it would directly complete the space law for him. You know, the law of space is the absolute top law. Although there are 3,000 avenues, except for time, cause and effect, and fate, nothing else can be compared with the laws of space. With Chen Lan's complete understanding of the laws of space, he was able to see clearly the essence of the space jade pendant. This is a kind of spatial ability similar to one flower, one world, and one tree, one Bodhi. Chen Lan discovered that when his strength reaches a certain level in the future, he can also make similar things. From now on, the sky is high and the sea is wide, let me travel around. Jia Jia Jia. Chen Lan's thoughts were very fast, but the system did not finish what he said. From now on, the host no longer has to worry about anyone escaping from you. Chen Lan nodded with satisfaction. Yes, never again. It's not right. Holy shit, where's that boy Chu Jun? He is really a loach in the mire, smelly and slippery. With Chu Jun's current strength, even though he was seriously injured in the battle just now, with a little bit of recuperation, he can still far outperform the average Tianshu realm expert. Over time, he will become an even bigger problem. Grandpa, God bless you. I hope Huang Shu can get rid of that kid. Don't let anything happen. At the same time, somewhere in the heaven, Chen Feng, who had returned to the heaven, was in high spirits and was thinking about where to regain his strength. Suddenly my nose itched and I sneezed. What's going on? Someone said something bad about me. HMPH, it must be that brat. When you get to heaven, let's see how I treat you, Grandpa. Dongzhou has been unified, and there is no danger in Dongzhou that can threaten Chen Lan. So this journey was very smooth. Chen Lan and the five beauties practiced every day because their own cultivation had reached the middle stage of Tianshu realm. Therefore, the practice of Yin-Yang Xiaoyao Tu has been of great help to Xie Qingqing, the three people with lower cultivation levels. In line with the principle of making progress together, Chen Lan opened a small window for Xie Qingqing and Yi Qing, who were originally weak in cultivation, and practiced day and night. Finally, Xie Qingqing, Yi Qing and Meng Hong were brought to the same starting line. Now they have reached the early stage of Tianshuan realm, and Meng Hong has broken through to the middle stage of Tianshuan realm. This kind of cultivation speed is something that no one else can ask for. However, Xie Qingqing and the two of them were a little scared because they had been doing this for days, because it would really swell and hurt. The few of them had a leisurely journey, walking and playing, for 15 days before returning to Kyoto. In fact, there is nothing waiting for Chen Lan in Kyoto today. The only thing that needs to be determined is Chen Jing's current state. Arriving in front of the main hall where Chen Jing retreats, he probes into his consciousness to check. But as soon as he approached the main hall, Chen Jing had already noticed his arrival. Chen Jing's cultivation is not that he cannot communicate with the outside world at all, so he can also communicate with Chen Lan. Are you back? Where is your grandpa? Before Chen Feng left, he also sent him a force separated from Huang Shu. This force could help him break through faster. It's just that after so many days, he hasn't noticed Chen Feng's return, so he can't help but feel a little worried. Grandpa ascended, and he took Grandma with him. Chen Jing was a little surprised. As Chen Feng's only son, of course he knew that Chen Feng did not belong to the Xuanling world, but such a sudden ascension was still a bit surprising. But before he could continue thinking, Chen Lan spoke again. Grandpa said before he left that after he left, the forces from the other 4 continents might take advantage of the situation and move in. Now there is only one powerful emperor left in Dongzhou, Huang Shu. Although he is powerful, he is ultimately outnumbered. I came here just to ask Dad, how long will it take for you to break through the great emperor? Chen Lan's words are very direct and the meaning is very simple. We need the powerful emperor urgently. Of course Chen Jing knew what he meant. If Chen Feng hadn't given him that power, he might have needed a few more months. But with that boost, Chen Jing is confident that he will be able to break through within a month. Within a month. After receiving a very precise answer from Chen Jing, Chen Lan nodded, which was pretty much what he expected. The matter of Chen Feng's ascension should be hidden for a while. They will also need time to prepare after getting the news. It can take a month or 2 in tandem. If Chen Jing can survive within a month, he, as a great emperor, and Huang Shu, the son of destiny, should be able to withstand it if he is in the late stage of the great emperor realm. Then I will set off immediately. I have already told Huang Shu about all these matters. After the Dongzhou matter is dealt with, she will also make preparations early. I want to go to Central Continent and bring my mother back. Chen Dingding nodded. Since he was worried about war with the other 4 continents, it was very necessary to bring Sun Jishu back to Dongzhou. Although the 5 continents in the Xuanling realm are arranged in the southeast, northwest, and middle directions, the land masses are not connected together. The distance between continents may be greater than the land area of one continent. What separates the continents is the Endless Sea. The Endless Sea is the collective name for all the land in the Xuanling realm, and its total area far exceeds the land area of the 5 continents. The most peculiar thing is that the space and spiritual power over the entire Endless Sea are messy. Even if the Emperor and the powerful come, they have to make a leap instead of teleporting through space. Therefore, the unknowns and dangers contained therein are also unpredictable. Therefore, ordinary monks, no matter how curious they are, will not take big risks to cross the boundaries between continents. Only those who are powerful and powerful enough, or desperados who are forced to do so, will choose to face the Endless Sea. At this time, on the Endless Sea, a tall pavilion was flying through the air, and 9 dragons were terrifyingly powerful. Although it only carries a trace of dragon power, it is enough to frighten sea beasts dozens of miles away from approaching. Ho ho! When Chen Lan and his party reached the depths of the Endless Sea, a roar that resounded through the sky suddenly appeared in front of the Kowloon Agarwood chariot. Chen Lan, who was practicing, was frightened by the sudden cry. The next moment, the Kowloon Agarwood chariot began to shake violently. Outside the Kowloon Agarwood chariot, a single horned dragon was frantically striking the protective array of the pavilion. Chen Lan quickly put on her clothes and walked out of the pavilion, only to see the dragon's body was green, and its size was several times larger than the dragon puppet pulling the Kowloon Agarwood chariot. The aura around him was extremely violent, and his spiritual power was only a hair away from the human monk's level of emperor. This should be a dragon that has cultivated in the depths of the Endless Sea. Once it makes a breakthrough again, there will be a qualitative leap in both bloodline and strength, and it will definitely become the overlord of the Endless Sea. Roar! When the dragon saw Chen Lan walking out of the 9 dragons Agarwood chariot, he immediately changed direction and charged towards Chen Lan with the surging waves. Chen Lan didn't have time to think too much, her spiritual power surged freely, even surpassing the waves. The next moment, a black ice dragon containing the law of ice and endless dragon power appeared in front of him. As the giant dragon roared away, the dragon's speed obviously slowed down, and the waves rushing behind him began to slowly condense into ice. The strength of this green dragon is already comparable to that of Chu Jun, who has absorbed the power of more than 30 Tianshu realm experts. This is in the deep sea. It stands to reason that defeating a middle-level Tianshu realm expert is easy. It's just that Chen Lan really has some control over it. The law of ice has completely eliminated its advantage in the water. Immediately afterwards, the dragon power contained in Xuanbing Longxiang made her heart palpitate. Although the dragon has begun to accumulate some dragon power, compared with Chen Lan, who can use almost unlimited god-level skills, the gap between the dragon and the real dragon is comparable. Roar! The huge waves behind the dragon stopped, and its breath was suppressed by the dragon's power, but the resentful blow did not weaken at all. The green scales on its body flashed, and its powerful body rushed straight towards Chen Lan. The next moment, Chen Lan's body disappeared from where he was, the space channel opened, and Chen Lan had appeared further up in the sky. The space of the Endless Sea cannot be broken even by the powerful emperor, but for Chen Lan, who has mastered the complete laws of space, there is no limit. Within his spatial domain, everything in the space belongs to him. However, Xuanbing Longxiang is a 100% attack that cannot be avoided. No matter how fast the dragon is, it cannot avoid the pursuit of the Xuanbing dragon. In desperation, the dragon had no choice but to bite each other with the black ice dragon. But the green dragon's strength is there after all. How could the black ice dragon be its opponent? After a while, the black ice dragon was dispersed. A very human and playful look flashed in the green dragon's eyes, as if he was laughing at Chen Lan's incompetence. Chen Lan also gave it a thumbs up from the bottom of his heart. Immediately afterwards, 10 identical black ice dragons appeared out of thin air. They wandered around Chen Lan, their eyes cold and locked on the dragon in front of them. Despicable human beings. The dragon's eyes were burning with anger, and he actually uttered human words. Chen Lan was also startled by these words. He was stunned for a while before looking at the dragon that was dealing with 10 black ice dragons. Can you speak human language? When Chen Lan asked, the black ice dragon also slowed down a bit, enough for the dragon to respond to him. Inexperienced humans, the Imperial realm is no longer an ordinary realm. This dragon is only a thin line away from the Imperial realm. What's wrong with saying a few human words? Chen Lan ignored his ridicule and self-promotion. There seemed to be very few monsters that could reach the Imperial realm in the Xuanling world, so he didn't know much about it. Okay, I admit it if you don't know me. But you attacked me first, why do you call me despicable? The two had already begun to communicate and both stopped their movements. All 10 black ice dragons returned to Chen Lan, and one of them even held Chen Lan on the dragon's head, looking extremely majestic. The green dragon just snorted disdainfully. Humph, why? You actually made the corpses of 9 dragons into puppets to pull your cart. As a dragon, I can see that you are unhappy, okay. Chen Lan was stunned when he heard this. Are there such innocent people and beasts in this world? Okay, but these 9 dragons were killed by the strong men of my human race after they devoured tens of thousands of people in our human territory. They devour humans, and humans kill them. Then you feel unhappy with me. Today you hurt me. Another day because of this matter, I, a strong human being, feel unhappy with you again and want to kill you again. Do you think that's okay? Even if the dragon has achieved enough cultivation and has opened up its spiritual intelligence, it is still far behind the resourceful, insidious and cunning humans. In just a few words, Chen Lan was about to transform the dragon. What you said seems to make sense. Chen Lan nodded, looking like a teachable child. As expected of a true dragon who will soon reach the Imperial realm. He is really smart and can reveal everything at once. Hearing Chen Lan praise his intelligence, especially the words, real dragon, the dragon's tail was raised. You're not bad as a human. I'll let you go. With that said, Zhaolong turned around and was about to leave, but was stopped by Chen Lan. Hey, don't leave in a hurry. Meeting is fate. My name is Chen Lan. Let's make friends. Friend, Zhaolong turned to look at Chen Lan again, his eyes full of curiosity. After a while, he came back to his senses. Okay, friend, my name is, Xiaolu, Little Green. It was obvious that this name was simply something he came up with on the spur of the moment. And the name sounds like a big female dragon. However, it even has a name, so it probably doesn't understand this, and its male and female have yet to be further confirmed. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.